Punching Up, a Nintendo podcast, is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 52 of Punching Up, Last Stand Media's weekly Nintendo podcast. I am your host, Brad Ellis, as always. And joining me, I have both my lovely co-hosts, Micah Moriarty and Gene Park. Just so everyone knows also, Gene and Micah cannot see me right now. Zencaster is giving me trouble. Once again, everything's all choppy, so if it looks like they're looking at nothing or something when I'm talking, they can't see me. I can see them, but they can't see me. Just letting you know. However, it won't look any different for you guys because we're recording the video locally, so it'll be all good. With that out of the way, Micah, how are you? You're back from the vet.
Yes, I'm not great. I had a little mentee bee before the show, as everyone needs every now and then. Mm-hmm. But I'm all right. When you have like one of those mini 15-second cries, and then you're like, "That's all I have time for," and you gotta just suck it up and get on with your day. That's what that's what today feels like.
Oh no, dude!
When this show's over, I'm going to let out the rest of that cry, and it's going to be very nice. But, it was just stressful. I was telling Gene before the show, had to spend, a half hour on the phone today dealing with a bank, right? Just fun adult stuff. And then had to take the dog to the vet. And I should have had plenty of time to take him before this show, but they didn't. They kept us waiting for 25 minutes. And it's a really busy vet's office. And I love this vet. They're really great. So, but it just was we sat in the waiting room for 25 minutes. I should have had plenty of time, did not. So I get home, scrambling to get ready. So, a little 15-second cry, you reset the brain a little bit. Everything's fine.
Oh, man. Yes, we're going to turn that frown upside down, Micah, because we're going to talk about video games today. It's going to be fun, maybe.
Yeah, and I can't see Brad's disappointment in the various things I say today. So
that's true, yeah.
Although the still image
you could feel
for
it,
us,
though.
You kind of look like you're disappointed.
Yeah, that's good. That's on brand, yeah. Maybe you could feel my anger at later parts. Gene Park. Gene, how are you, my friend? With the Smith shirt going on right now, too.
It's actually Will and Jada Pinkett
Smith. Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. I was like, oh, cool. Smith shirts. Never mind. I take it back.
I love the Smiths, but I also love the Smiths as well.
How are you, Gene?
Doing good. Still a busy week of playing a lot of games. Finally started Monster Hunter, and we can talk about that later. But that's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just a lot of stress, a lot of busy stuff that I can't really talk about. I seen some comments are like, is Gene excited to be on the show at all? And I'm just like, guys, you know what? Sometimes, you don't know what people are going through, So just Micah's going through her own crap. I'm going through her own crap. We're trying our best here, I can't even see you, Brad.
Nope.
It's crazy. So
I'm in the void. My voice is
right
now.
Well, we only have just a freeze frame shot of Brad here, so it's like I'm talking to a ghost, honestly, or AI, Brad AI.
That's right. This is what the future is gonna be like. My AI version.
Just talking to avatars and having a poppy conversations,
Yeah.
So why should I be excited about anything,
Just pretend I'm a VTuber or something. I don't know.
Oh no, better than that. I'm gonna open a picture of one of those little propeller hats, and I'm gonna hover it over Brad on my screen.
Excellent. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of wish you were a VTuber. That'd be cool. That would be okay to talk to.
We can maybe make that happen. Maybe around April Fools, we could do that. Everyone's a VTuber or something.
Yeah. Just slap some big old bitties on you.
Big old titty bitties, yeah. Oh man, that'd be awesome. All right, everybody. Welcome to Punching Up.
I just got the hat set up. That's what I'm laughing at. I just got this little hat set up on Brad.
Excellent. Perfect. That's good. Before we get into the show, everybody, please check us out on patreon.com/laststandmedia if you'd like to support us. You get some merch on laststandmedia.store. Also, good news, guys, and I'm very happy about this. We are in the top 40 podcasts on Apple, or Apple Podcasts at least. We made it in with the rest of everybody. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you, everybody, for the support.
Very cool.
We greatly appreciate it. Yes. Let's keep growing. Let's keep spreading our nonsense throughout the internet. So please leave us a nice rating, all that good stuff. Tell your friends that we're weird, but it's a good time. All right. Let's see here. We got a couple warm-up write-ins. This is from Eduardo Gomez. Hey, dudes. Not really a question, but I love listening to Spawncast as I do every time it's live. And out of nowhere, who spawns randomly? It's Gene. It's nice seeing LSM people make appearances on other shows outside of LSM family. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Hey, look at that, Gene, just popping up on Spawncast.
Yeah, Spawncast was was a little slim Saturday. Sometimes you can't have everyone join on. So they had nobody to talk about Avowed, and they really wanted to talk about Avowed, and I was like, sure, I'll hop on. I'm actually still not done talking about Avowed, which is a very confusing game, a game that I like but has like so many problems.
Yeah.
So
cool. That's awesome that you're on there. Good stuff.
Yeah. So shout out to John Wave and OJ Player Essence and all those guys for giving me a platform.
Had him on Summon Sign one time. Very nice guy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I missed that episode. Dang.
Yeah, it was me, him, and Dustin. It was good. Hopefully get him on again. I'll have to ask him.
For sure, yeah. Good guy.
All right. This is from Loom Doom. Hey, Punchers. Warm-up question. The year is 2040. Switch U2 failed miserably for a variety of reasons, and Nintendo is now in a dire state. They need someone to buy them out, or the company will be shut down for good. At this time, there are only 5 buyers that are interested, and they are 1. Tencent, 2. NetEase, 3. Meta, 4. EA, and 5. Elon Musk. Of the 5, who would you rather buy Nintendo? Choose wisely. All right, Micah. Who's buying Nintendo?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with EA because it's a name I know and recognize. Is that a good idea? I don't know. But when it comes to acquisitions and mergers, that's Colin's wheelhouse, and I'm just like, shut up.
Right.
I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
I'll go with EA because I'm familiar with their game. Like, didn't NetEase just shut down the former Yakuza guys' like new project? They have to like just finish it. And like there won't be any marketing for it. Like it's a whole thing.
I don't think there's any more funding going for it. Yeah.
Yeah, when it was like the game's gonna be released with no marketing budget, and it's like, wow, you may as well just not.
Yeah.
So that sucks. I don't want them doing it. Tencent is just a bad word these days. I don't really know what they've done, but everyone's very upset.
Gene, who are you picking?
Well, there are estimations and reporting, including the Washington Post, that Nintendo is basically recession proof, and they can go through 80 years basically of failures without still being a company because they have that much money saved up. So 2040 probably is still probably too early. I feel like Nintendo will just shut down if Nintendo is too proud of a company to let anyone else own them. Yeah, to be bought out. They'll just be like, no, we're done. We're good.
Well, let's do hypothetical. If they do the Switch U2, first of all, they're already insane to do that. Mm-hmm. You just got to pick one, though, Gene. One of the 5.
Sure. All of these are terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Tencent the most. I don't know. Like I'm only basing this on NetEase just closing down Marvel Rivals, and it's like okay, and like shutting down or like not funding Nagoshi, the creator of Yakuza studio, because he left Yakuza to go to NetEase. So, but it's not like Tencent doesn't do that stuff either. Meta for sure is a disaster. EA is a disaster, and Elon Musk is a disaster. So. I mean, like Elon would probably keep them solvent for forever, but they would make the worst games, So, I guess Tencent, because I don't know. Yeah, that's a nightmare scenario,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
losses all around. I'm just gonna go with Meta because it'd be funny to have Mark Zuckerberg talk about Nintendo.
Oh my god,
that's the only reason I'm doing it.
See, Elon Musk could work because he's got like 50 children to impress.
That's true.
Maybe he would want to be like, don't you know your dad makes Mario? They'll be like, oh my God. So, that's an angle that I didn't consider maybe that's a way for him to win back his children.
Yeah. That's true. Maybe he could do that. Man, I hope that doesn't happen. Any of these features, these all sound horrible.
Mm-hmm.
We got to keep John Connor alive. All right. This is from Nathan Densley. Hello, Punchy Crew. What do you think Metroids taste like? Would you boil them? Bake them? Fondue? Then there's the aroma. What would they smell? Or would they smell like squid? Or taste like chicken? I bet a good Metroid Vindaloo curry dish would brighten up anyone's day. All right, Micah, you are our barbecue cooking expert here. How are you cooking a Metroid? What's it going to taste like?
I'm not going to lie to you. Having never played Metroid, I don't know what they are. I thought they were like meteors or something.
And they look like jellyfish almost.
That's what those are the Metroids.
Yeah.
Those there. Oh, cripes. I didn't know that was the Metroid. I was like, yeah, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't care. Man, seafood on the grill can work. High heat, short amount of time.
Sure.
You don't want it overdone. You can always, have a butter sauce on hand you want to cook it maybe like 75% of the way and then transfer it to a warm butter sauce in a pan on the grill. Cook it the remainder. It's going to be really hard to dry it out if you do it that way.
Whoa. Huh. That's pretty in-depth, Mike. I like that. That's a full plan.
I literally just listened to the barbecue podcast on my way home, and that was the recipe of the day, was this grilled shrimp dish. But his secret to not overcooking the shrimp as a beginner, for us, not him, was, okay, you do the shrimp 75% of the way over the coals and then put it right into your hot butter sauce. It should only take a minute or two to finish, but you will not overcook it because you're cooking it in liquid basically only for a couple minutes. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Micah, I think I would just try to make jelly out of it like they did in SpongeBob. I think they took the jellyfish.
Yes.
And they put it on bread. I think that's what I would try to do. Raw. Gene, how do you think a Metroid tastes?
Yeah, I think the seafood angle, probably a squid, because it looks squid-like. I was thinking probably like a mushroom or vegetable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when I think about it, they are pretty squid-like, obviously, right? So, yeah, I think so. I love, as a Korean, I love eating squid and squid-like objects. That image of Old Boy when he's eating that octopus live.
Yeah,
like we do that shit. Like my dad would send me seafood that's still alive, and he'd be like, "No, just eat it. It feels good, like when you feel it wriggling down your throat."
Yeah. No,
I'm too violently American for that.
Yeah,
it's just, I'm just too American.
It's crazy. Yeah, I would just they would serve the food live, and it just the food is moving around on the plate.
That's some Star Wars dish that Jabba the Hutt would eat. It sounds like, or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, my problem is not, some people are like, oh, if you don't like that it was alive. And it's like, that's not the problem. The problem is that sea creatures are often spidery in nature. And I don't like crabs. Fucking crabs are delicious, but oh my God, they're so spiderish. And I can't stand that. It's like, I don't want to see them skittering around. Yeah,
crabs are crazy.
Yeah, crabs are insane.
If you've never seen a crab before and then you see one, it's wild.
Dude. Have you seen the pictures of coconut crabs crashing a party on the beach? And people are just cool with it. But I'm like, this thing's the size of a dog. It looks like a spider. I will instantly die.
I am from the Pacific Islands. That was a problem. That was always a problem. They're like, oh shit, we got a big ass coconut crab hanging out by the barbecue right now.
No, I
they're
could not.
They're like mongoose, or they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're massive. They dig around trash. It's crazy. Yeah.
They ate Amelia Earhart. That's the prevailing theory of why we never found her, is that she was probably eaten by coconut crabs. And I'm like, well,
what?
That's another reason. Yeah, that's the most recent of the last several years internet theory of why we never found her is because she may have been eaten by coconut crabs or other such local wildlife.
Yeah, because there was a theory that she crash landed on Saipan, which is a neighboring island of Guam. So I actually used to cover that all the time, where it's like, oh yeah, it was Amelia Earhart here and everything. And then I remember on Guam, I would go around asking people, do you know who Amelia Earhart is? And they'll be like, oh, did she go to like this one school? Like nobody gives a shit who the fuck Amelia Earhart is. And that's when I was like, man, like everything I'm doing in news is like bullshit.
Yeah.
Because no one gives a shit. You know?
No one gives a fuck about that.
No one
That's
gives
funny.
a shit. Nobody. It was my first exposure to people like not caring about the like a media story,
Mm-hmm.
and people like not being like educated enough to know what we're talking about. You know.
Right. Like
So,
they can't
yeah.
understand the significance of who she was because they've simply never heard of her. So it's like, what
Yeah,
do
they
I
never-
care? And it's like, well, it'd be pretty cool if we found her, but if you haven't been wondering since third grade like I have what happened to Amelia Earhart, you're just not gonna give a shit.
No, I mean that's the level of education that we're having right now. That we're just not teaching history. It's all just
Right.
AI driven now.
That's true.
Anyways, that's what I think Metroid tastes like.
Yeah. I just-
Amelia Earhart's corpse.
I've said this. You know what? Everything in the ocean is ugly. It's all
Yeah.
ugly. It's all alien, gross spider, squid shit.
Mhm.
None of it should exist. The ocean should have nothing in it. It should just be water. And that's it. Get your weird eels. Like, an eel would freak me the fuck out. Swimming in there and just like a weird water snake comes by you.
Mhm.
I don't understand. Like, those people that go swimming in that shit and like high-fiving eels or some dumb shit like that. Like, I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are psychopaths.
Mhm.
The ocean is a horrible place.
The ocean is very, very terrifying. I lived on Guam again, right
Yeah.
next to the Marianas Trench, the deepest point on Earth.
Yeah.
So think about all the crazy shit that lives down there. It's a whole galaxy of bullshit.
Yeah, I don't want some bloodborne monster swimming next to me, okay?
Yeah, because like you think about like how we're freakish over here. It is like there's no rules in the ocean.
Yeah.
They're just evolving like whatever willy nilly. You know.
No rules in the ocean is a perfect way to say that. I love that.
No, dude, like I'm so freaked out by the ocean, partly because I can't swim very well, partly because like I always had dreams of doing like scuba diving or something, and then like there's an inherent claustrophobia to being in the suit and the oxygen mask and all that. It's a never for me, obviously.
Right.
But it's like the ocean is just so scary.
Yeah.
I can't fathom spending time in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fuck the ocean. We're all on the same boat on that one. Good.
Yes, I agree too.
Yeah.
As
Ocean.
someone who lived by the ocean, fuck it.
Yeah. Nope. No thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we had a thing called balut, which was like basically a sea cucumber, and it looked like a mixture of like a cock and a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then like if you picked it up and squeezed it, like white shit would come out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's
I've seen that.
disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Right. That was
Ocean's
like
fucked up.
I had to do like a book report one time about the sea cucumber, and it was just like yeah, it like sprays its enemies out of fear with its I don't know, sticky goop, and then tries to like slowly slide away. I was just like, this animal sucks.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
just
Why'd you-
grosses you out.
Mhm.
You know, who assigned me this? Like,
Mhm.
what
And
kind of
I messed up
pervert
the name. It's not
teacher?
balut. Balut is a type of egg, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it's called. It's been
It's
years
better
since I've been-
forgotten.
Yeah.
It's
It's
been
just
years
better
since I've seen the
not
ocean,
know.
and good.
It's just like a floppy dick going around in the ocean, spraying its goo everywhere. That
Pretty
ain't
much.
right.
Dude, have you ever seen a gooey duck clam?
No.
Oh my god. Now that's a sea dick, all right? I actually the first time I ever saw this was I was watching Dirty Jobs with my dad in high school, and he went to like a gooey duck farm, and it was just like one of the most awkward episodes that we sat through, but neither of us
This-
wanted to acknowledge it. and
Yeah,
change
this
the
is
channel.
extremely fucked up. I hate this. This is like an elephant dick or something. Just like,
It
what kind of
is.
clam is this?
It's a gooey duck.
Can we like make a chemical to extinct all this shit? Can we do something about this?
I just can't believe people are like, yeah, I'll eat that.
Yeah,
I mean,
give me that clam dick right there. Yeah, this is.
I love
fucked up.
clams,
This
but
is
not that
fucked up,
one.
dude.
I ain't eating that.
Yeah, I'm upset now. This is gross, dude.
It's something every week.
I know.
We have to show Brad something horrible.
I get
One
upset
week it's
every
echidna genitalia. This week it's that.
Listeners, if you want to be upset, Google that as well. It's disturbing. Don't do it around your family or kids or at work.
No.
Don't do that. All right. Let's talk about some game news, actually. First, let's start with bad news. Warner Brothers Whoops, let me write this for Dustin. Warner Brothers has had layoffs. Let's see here. Earlier today, Jason Schreier reported that Warner Brothers Games is shutting down Monolith Productions, known for titles like the Shadow of Mordor and War Games, Fear 1 and 2, and the Condemned series. Player First Games, the team behind Multiverses, and WB San Diego were also closed. Monolith Productions' Wonder Woman game, which was announced in 2021, has also been canceled. Monolith Productions' last game, Middle Earth Shadow of War, came out in 2017. Gene, what do you think about all this right now? We just learned about this today.
It's really sad. I think it's just sad that the industry is now just like a hit or miss business, where it's like every single product you make has to be a real banger, and it has to come out faster and sooner, or else you're going to get shut down. I don't know what's going on where that project just took so long, but it's a combination of mismanagement, project mismanagement, corporate impatience, and it's stunning. First of all, I never gave a shit about the Wonder Woman game, so I'm kind of glad that it was gone. It never sounded like a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was like hyped about it. I didn't know anyone was excited.
Wonder Woman. See, that's the thing. Like Indiana Jones, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad. These are all IP that were hot like in 2016, 2017. And they're not hot anymore. Suicide Squad was never hot in the first place, right? Like the first movie did okay, but it wasn't going to be it's not going to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the only thing that Spider-Man, Batman, shit like that. It's really just Spider-Man and Batman really that are guaranteed hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you come out with an X-Men game right now, like I'm not sure how that would bang, So there's this like addiction with like comics IP that the video game industry really like hooked its chains onto, as opposed to just making an original game. Like Monolith made Fear, they made Condemned, and look at those projects. Those projects kept them going, and that's why they were able to scale up to create Middle Earth. But once they scaled to that size, they couldn't go back down. They can't just make another smaller game like Condemned or another Fear game, or just another original cool first person game that just lasts for 10, 20 hours, and you just release that and you just move on to the next project. It's I don't know how to solve this, but ultimately I think there's just too many games. There's not enough people to support this many games. Matt Piscatella recently said that most of the industry is just people just buying 1 or 2 games a year. That is not a healthy industry to support all of these big AAA projects. Everyone trying to be the next Marvel, everyone trying to be the next DC, or not. DC's not even anything really.
Right?
It's just still. Everyone's with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and its consequences will be paying for the consequences for a long time. That and Fortnite, people chasing Fortnite and Marvel, and the Russo brothers were involved in both of that crap either,
right?
Too, and it's like everyone wants that, and it's like you can't get that. It's impossible, Even Destiny couldn't do it, So I don't know. It's just a real tragedy, and it's sad that the industry has gotten itself to this point. Really, that on top of like losing themselves in a sauce of like the pandemic riches. I don't understand why everyone in the media and entertainment business. This is in media too. This is in the news business too. For some reason, everyone in news, social media companies really hired up and thinking that this was going to be a permanent like lockdown where everyone was just going to be permanently into these habits. I think work from home is something that has stuck around since then, but even that is like tentative for a lot of people,
right?
So I just don't understand how anybody, all of these executives just saw the numbers go up and they just got addicted to it. They just got like lost in the sauce. Really, they just got way too high off of it, and this is a come down, and everyone is paying for it except for the people that made these decisions. Sometimes the CEOs would lose their jobs, but they'll get a golden parachute, and they're richer for it.
Yeah,
it's shit. And this is why like This is why this is not an economy and industry, a world economy of a meritocracy. You know, the good people, the smart people aren't getting rewarded. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say.
Micah, any thoughts?
Well, just Gene makes a really great point about the effects of the pandemic all these years later when it comes to many industries overshooting, thinking that this was going to last forever. A non-video game example that Colin and I were just discussing yesterday was Instant Pot. Instant Pot, which they're not like in danger right now, but they are, on a massive decline, but not because their products are bad or anything like that. It's simply because there were so many people buying Instant Pots at the beginning of the pandemic, learning how to cook at home. Everyone was having fun, the sourdough era, right? Everyone was on their sourdough, their banana bread era. Instant Pot was huge during the pandemic. And it's crazy that they expected those numbers to continue indefinitely. And Instant Pot created some really weird products during that time, like odd sizes of the Instant Pots and just all these weird, appliances that they've had to, kind of pare down what they offer. But if you go on their website, like they make so many things now. And they've had to eliminate some of the options that were just not popular, but they just overdid it. And like Gene said, we have certainly seen the same in regards to video game companies and news outlets as well, hiring way too many staff thinking that this boom would last forever. I mean, as a personal example, when I was working my IT job, I was gaming a lot during the pandemic, partly because we got furloughed, which is like a temporary layoff for several weeks out of the year because of the pandemic, because we were essentially, the university had so little money because they had to refund everyone's room and board because they sent all the kids home. And then we had to take these layoffs. So I had a couple weeks of basically vacation. And I'm gaming up a storm, and I'm not the only person who was put in that position. And it was so foolish for these companies to act like this is normal and that that everything would stay like that forever.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate for the people losing their jobs because of the decisions of those, higher up being short-sighted. And like we discussed previously about the Wonder Woman game and sort of the disappointment that this is where all the resources are going from a team that made some really innovative things. It's just a shame that this is how it ends up turning out. And yeah, I'd be really curious to even see a few more years from now, like us being able to look back at, whoa, what the hell happened from 2020 onward with this weird generation of games?
Yeah. I don't know. Warner Brothers has been in a mess for a while with not just video games, but all around the board, it seems like. And they made a lot of stupid decisions in video games, like Suicide Squad, great example. Arkham Knights, also. Gotham Knights.
Oh, dude. Something I was so excited for, and then when I saw how much of like a flop it was, I'm like, I'm not spending $60 on that.
Yeah.
Like a real disappointment as someone who's like a big DC fan. These games were just like, I'm not playing these. I liked that first Suicide Squad movie. All right, I liked it enough. I bought the collector's edition statue. Okay, I wasn't playing that trash game.
Yeah.
Like, this is the problem of acting like, oh, it's a gimme and every fan's gonna buy it. It's like, I'm not buying this shit.
Yeah.
I love DC. They're my favorite, comic heroes, but there's no fucking way I was gonna play these games that just didn't look fun and didn't look good.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? What was the other developer? Not Monolith. What were they called? Player First Games. The guys behind Multiverses. Disaster. They brought out the game in the beta. Then they took it away for like a year, I think, Gene, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought it back and no one gave a shit about it. So that was a disaster right away. And even
I was always skeptical of Multiverses.
Yeah.
I was like, this is such a cynical IP project with a lot of talented people behind it. But the overall project just seems so cynical and just... I didn't understand why people were so hyped on it. Like so many people I respected like Maximilian dude, Wooly, Pat, like they were all hyped on multiverses, and I was like, guys, I think you need to scale it back a little bit because I really don't think this game is going to last. And sure enough, here it is.
Yep.
It's just a cynical ploy to just copy another copy Nintendo basically and do it worse.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I don't. It's it's just sad. It's just emblematic of what the problem is. That's why honestly, as successful as Marvel Rivals is right now, I don't have a lot of. I am also applying that same cynicism to Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is much bigger and popular game, but I see clip this if it happens, and if it doesn't, I'll be wrong. But I see that game flaming out pretty hard, for sure.
Okay, but yeah, I'm sad to see Monolith Productions go. I like
don't invest in Marvel Rivals. That's what I'm saying. Don't spend too much. Don't spend so much on skins that you become homeless there. Watch out.
Yeah, careful.
It's NetEase. Come on.
Yeah. Shout out Monolith Productions. I liked Shadow of Mordor and War, even though War was worse in a lot of ways. And I'm really mad because that game ends on like a cliffhanger kind of ending where it's like, you need to do one more game. We're never going to get it. So that bums me out.
War was fucked because Shadow War was fucked because it became a live service, remember?
Yeah, at the start. They patched a lot of it to make it better, but yeah, it was a shit show when it came out.
They patched out all the live service elements to make the game work fine on its own, but you had to be online and you had to buy all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
You had to buy the goddamn orcs just to be able to strong enough to take down the fortresses, and that was bullshit. That was a fucking scam.
Yeah. A single player game too.
Yeah, single player game, and you have to buy orcs to take over the war forts, and it's all the same fucking battles anyways. It was bullshit. It
was.
That's what WB is.
Yeah, they're chasing the wrong train. It's kind of crazy how Hogwarts Legacy didn't have like any of that stuff. Feels like a miracle.
That's crazy. Yes, it's crazy. You could easily make a Harry Potter into some kind of cynical product like that, but surprisingly. Whatever the studio, I'm already forgetting the name, but
Avalanche.
Avalanche. Oh yeah, shout out to Avalanche. Oh, not the same guys who made Mad Max.
I'm not sure. There's two Avalanches.
Yeah, there are two Avalanches. Just like there's two monoliths. And we'll be talking about the other monoliths later. But that's crazy that Harry Potter didn't do that. I don't know what they're thinking or but yeah, it's crazy. Shadow of War was completely mishandled. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Monolith also made one of my favorite PC games, one of the first PC games I ever played, No One Lives Forever. It was a James Bond first-person shooter.
The 60s vibe on the cover, right?
Yep, 1960s vibe with a very sexy femme fatale, like an Austin Powers like side character becoming the main character. Really like perfect dark, but 1960s, really, really fucking cool game. Monolith used to make a lot of fucking cool games, man.
Yeah, Fear, man. Fear on PC was so awesome when it came out.
Yeah, and then Colin's been talking about Trepang Squared. Yeah. That's just a Fear game, and it's like, why can't and that was successful, but Monolith can't make those games anymore. You have to be on the big IP. You have to, like, Wonder Woman movies out, so you got to make Wonder Woman. It's like these people are fucking insane.
Yeah, they are,
and without imagination.
Yeah. They are. They sure are. It was Avalanche Software, just for the Hogwarts Legacy devs. Yep, not the other one that did Mad Max. So rest in peace to those devs. We'll see what happens in the future. I guess Warner Brothers, crazy ass place, but I hope all those people find work. All right, let's move on to something else. Pokémon Presents starts on the 27th, which is 2 days from now from recording, which is a Thursday. This is the Pokemon Day. I think it's the Japanese release day of Fire Red and Leaf Green originally. So that's Pokemon Day. And they're doing a Pokemon Presents on Nintendo. They're going to have a live stream. They're going to show some stuff. I've heard they're not super eventful from what I've heard about. I have not watched them because I was not into Pokemon at all. I'll check this one out, though. But I assume we're going to see more Pokemon Za there, Gene. Your little Za Pokemon, ZA. And there's rumors about a 6v6 multiplayer Marvel Rivals or Marvel Rivals / Overwatch-esque Pokemon game, which sounds insane, but I will check that out. Any predictions, Gene, aside from that? Anything you would like to see?
Nope, I have no idea what to expect from Pokemon anymore these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, more ZA, the more the Arceus game. I don't know. Maybe we'll see the next mainline. I don't know, but I feel like they'll probably focus on ZA more.
Yeah, that'd be good to see it. I want to think.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of ZA at all, right?
No, we haven't seen anything. We've seen like the logo, so we haven't seen any of the gameplay or anything like that. Yeah. I doubt there'll be anything Switch 2 because Nintendo seems to not want any Switch 2 games to be announced until their thing going on
before the April direct.
Yeah. Though if any IP had power, it would be Pokemon, but I still doubt they'll show anything. Micah, any predictions or anything you'd want to see?
So as we've kind of discussed, me maybe dipping my toes back into Pokemon. I am definitely going to watch this. I'm not getting up at 9 a.m. to watch it. That's for fucking sure. But I'll catch a recap of this. No, I do want to see what this ZA is all about. This is one of those things where, unlike you, Brad, I'm definitely not going to play every Pokemon game that there ever was. But I would be looking for a good jumping in point for the Switch, right? Like I am going to play Pokemon Moon on 3DS, but in terms of the Switch titles, yeah, I'm looking for a place to jump in and try one. So let's find out what Pokemon, Pizza is all about, and hopefully that's coming to Switch 2. I will be curious to see how they dance around that, because it would be fucking stupid if it wasn't coming to Switch 2. But yeah, will they be allowed to say it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I talked about this yesterday on Someone's Sign. I did a preemptive sorted out for the future because they're not going to announce any of the classic Pokemon games coming to anything once again. That's the easy answer, though, Nintendo. Just do it, man. I don't know, man. How many times do we got to ask? Just give us some of the old games legally, some way to play them. It'd be great.
Dude, and because the thing is, people would pay through the nose for it. The frustrating thing about Nintendo is that this is not empty promises from fans. Like, we're not saying, oh, if you bring back Killzone, okay, we promise we'll play it this time. And PlayStation's like, I'm not so sure. With Nintendo, it's like, this is a fucking slam dunk of an idea. Everyone will buy it. Same with Wind Waker on Switch and Twilight Princess on Switch. This is a guaranteed moneymaker, and it is infuriating that they're just like, we'd rather not. It's madness.
Yeah, it's very annoying. It's so easy. You just do like a red, blue, yellow collection right there. Then your gold, silver, crystal. You could sell those games for $60. A collection of like 3 games, 6 games, easy, no problem.
You could sell for more than that. Like people would buy it. It's insanity to leave this on the table when people are clamoring for it, and they would definitely buy it. They'd buy it physical for sure. Like it's a no-brainer. And they are just like, nah.
Especially because you can't buy them anywhere. You have to get used copies. You can't. The eShop's gone. That was on 3DS, so you can't buy them there anymore. Switch Online doesn't have them at all. So it's just like, well, you can give us the option, please? You're the biggest IP on the planet. Please give us the option to buy these games, for God's sakes.
No, exactly. Especially for 3DS, because there's a 3DS game that I am hunting for called Avalon Code. And it was previously available on GameStop, and I just missed it. Like the next day it was gone. And I'm not trying to pay a lot of money for it, but it's like I've been kind of hunting around for this game online, and it's the only way to play it. The eShop's gone. So I'm just, unless I want to be a dirty little pirate, with scurvy and all that. And I don't want to be a dirty little pirate with scurvy.
Right.
But yeah, you're stuck otherwise trying to be like, well, I guess I'll pay $80 for this game on eBay that I'm not sure I'm going to like. That's kind of where you end up. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like a lot of these Pokemon games are very expensive just on their own. Like Redden, like you're going to pay like $60 for probably Blue or something like that, just for the cart by itself. You're paying for Crystal, that's over $100 easily, maybe $200. It's ridiculous how expensive these games are. So hopefully Nintendo and Pokemon Company will figure that out someday, but I doubt it. But we'll see this Saturday. I'll keep an eye out on it. Also, stick with Pokemon Concierge. This was a stop animation Netflix series. I think there's 4 episodes. I've not seen it, by the way. But I looked at it a little bit. It looks very cute, so I'll try to have to watch it sometime. But it was on Netflix originally, but they're going to be putting it on YouTube for free until March 9th. So if you don't have Netflix and you're a Pokemon fan, this could be a good opportunity to check that out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but do you have any interest in watching it?
Oh, I haven't even heard of this actually, but I was a huge fan of Rilakuma and Koru on Netflix, which was like another like stop motion show. And is this by the same people? Because it just looks so extremely similar in style. And
yeah, no idea.
Rilakuma and Koru was extremely well done, and I just adored it. This looks adorable. I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
it's so cute. Look at them all.
I know.
It looks great.
Okay, I might watch this.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I don't have Netflix. I gotta get Netflix back.
Oh, you don't have? It's on YouTube now.
Oh, that was the news point.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, I don't have Netflix.
You can just watch it on YouTube.
It's coming to YouTube. All right.
Yeah, so you can I think it's out now already, so you can all watch it right there. Gene, any interest in this?
Yeah, looks cool. I'll check it out.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Yeah, I'll have to try to watch it. We'll report back in the future whenever we do. Gene, I saw some people talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. It looks like some previews went out for the game, I think late last week. But you've been playing, I've been seeing you post screenshots of it online and all that kind of stuff. Talk to us about it. What can you say? Your impressions so far?
Yeah, where should I start with Xenoblade Chronicles X?
I don't know.
You think I should start with just introducing the game? Because the game only sold 800,000 copies.
Yeah, maybe you just like explain what it is and what's different about it from the other Xenoblade games.
Yeah, so first of all, Xenoblade Chronicles X, as far as we know so far, is not related at all to the original trilogy. So story-wise, you don't have to worry about anything. This is a completely new story. There are hints that it might tie back to the original trilogy in the new content, but at that point, I'm not even at that point yet. So that's neither here nor there. You absolutely do not need any of the other Xeno games to enjoy this. This is just a standalone side project, and its nature as a different game means that there is a much less emphasis on story. Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, they're closer to like not even Dragon Quest. They're closer to Final Fantasy. Yeah. Reminder, Takahashi-san, the director of the Xenoblade series, including Xenogears and Xenosaga, he was originally he had the original pitch for Final Fantasy VII. It got rejected because it was too dark and too complicated. So that's why they went with Kitase's script for Final Fantasy VII with Cloud and everything. And then that's why his script eventually turned into Xenogears, which was a much darker, crazier story. So Xenoblade Chronicles, and then he never really finished Xenogears completely. Nope. And then Xenosaga was supposed to be his big epic saga that was supposed to go across 6 games. And he never got to finish that story either. Xenoblade Chronicles is him returning to the same themes of of his past stories and basically redoing them in a way where he can finally fucking finish it and also, tell the story a lot better, because he struggled a lot in terms of trying to tell these stories. To me, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 is the best version of the Xeno series that he's ever done. But Xenoblade Chronicles X is a completely different story, not like Final Fantasy. There's a less emphasis on story presentation, so don't expect cutscenes that are elaborate. There's a couple of cutscenes that will have cool action sequences, right? But when it comes to like the talking parts, it's very just going to be a bunch of NPC models, like just kind of yapping their mouth and everything like that. The story there is good, and the best way to sum up, I think, the story is this is. What if the guy whose pitch for Final Fantasy VII got rejected for being too dark went on and decided to make Halo instead? That's what Xenoblade Chronicles X is, because the story is that there's Earth and 2 massive, super advanced alien races decide to have a war, within the atmosphere of Earth, and Earth is destroyed as a result. But Earth got a heads up that this was going to happen, so they created this whole Earth colonization project where a bunch of ships would leave Earth, abandon Earth as it's getting destroyed, and they would just try to find another planet to colonize. The white whale, which is a ship in Xenoblade Chronicles X, ends up going over a planet called Mira. The aliens from Earth that were fighting over there decided, there's going to be no survivors. But that's part of the mystery. Why are the aliens deciding to chase the humans who ran away? They chase them all the way to Mira. The white whale crash lands on Mira. And then there is a whole that ship was massive enough that they actually had a whole city section. So the city section was able to survive, and then they call it New Los Angeles on Mira. But then there is also another section of the ship called the Lifehold, and that is basically where like all of humanity is being stored, or like the 1.5 million humans that were stored on the ship. That's where they're being stored. And then so the you are a Blade who is tasked with exploring Mira, finding out what's going on, and also eventually find the Lifehold, and hopefully save the rest of what could be the only remaining humans left. The game is very class based. It has I think 12 different classes, all varying. You each have 2 weapons. Again, like Halo, you have a gun and you have a melee weapon. So your starting class is I'm already forgetting the name. But your starting class is just a knife and an assault rifle, and then once you master that, you can branch off into basically 6 other lines of class creation, and each one has their own different classes as well. So right now, I decided to go from the beginning class to a galactic or a brawl fencer, which I have a lightsaber and 2 guns that come out of my back and start shooting. And then the ultimate version of that class is Galactic Knight, which I'm chasing right now. Again, I have a lightsaber, but I was able to master the class that has dual wielding Uzis. So once I master that class, I can use dual wielding Uzis with any other class. So by the end of the game, you can mix and match any kind of weapon you want.
Cool, I love stuff like that.
All of these different abilities. So the build, the possibilities for this game is endless. On top of that, the biggest selling point, which is on the cover, is that you get mechs. This is the first Xeno game since Xenosaga that lets you control big-ass robots in there. The mechs famously came in through pretty much late in the game. I would say halfway through, a little bit earlier than halfway through in the original game. That I can't talk about that right now because that's still an embargo, because they only asked us to stay in Chapter 4. But in the original game, you get the mechs after Chapter 5, I believe. You get it in Chapter 6. That is awesome, because now you only have a party of 4. You can customize your whole party. You can customize. I'm not sure if you can customize the classes, but you can customize what they're wearing. You can outfit them, and there are so many different. There are 4 new characters, but there's above 20 party members that you can recruit throughout the game, and they all cover the different classes. So if you want like a tank, or you want to, Elma is your DPS character, and she's kind of like the audience surrogate. She's kind of the main character of the story. Besides you, you're a silent protagonist, which is another difference. In Xenoblade, you are Noah. You are Shulk. Whereas this one, I'm Jean, and I'm just kind of like popping up and just doing things, whatever Elma tells me to do, basically, right? Where was I going? On top of that, you can create party mechs. So right now at this point in the game, I'm not supposed to be talking about this, but I'm talking about late game in Xenoblade. I have all 4 of my party members all outfitted with mechs. And all the mechs have different weapons. There are different builds. There's a heavy mech, there's a medium mech, there's a light mech. That they have different levels of fuel consumption. You have to refuel the mechs every single time. In terms of the fuel in the mechs will go down every time you do a special attack in battle, and it will go down really slowly while you're in battles. It will not go down when you're exploring the world, which is a massive, massive world that's 10 times the size of Skyrim and 4 times the size of Breath of the Wild. And by the way, Monolith Soft, spearheaded by Takahashi, the Final Fantasy VII guy, they're the guys who helped out with creating Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because Nintendo was so impressed with what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles X. Massive continent, and you can explore with mechs. That you eventually unlock the flight module for the mech. So not only will the mechs transform into little cars that you can drive around and they jump super high, and that opens up exploration in the world like immensely. Once you get to the flying portion, then the world is your oyster. You can just literally go anywhere. You can skip entire combat situations within missions by just flying over them with the mech. And you can have 4 different mechs with 4 different styles, and that's exactly what I do. You know, my heavy character has a heavy mech. But yeah, so what's different about this one is that there are numerous quality of life features that I can talk about. Chief among them for me was leveling up in the original Xenoblade Chronicles X was really, really slow. And you have to do a lot of exploration, and it was very, very grindy. But in the Japanese release, they had this feature called support missions. And each of these support missions gives you a shit ton of experience, a shit ton of money, or a shit ton of like fuel, or a shit ton of like affinity points, which are basically the social link points to increase the relation. That's another thing about this fucking game. This game has social links. You need to increase social links. You have to finish side quests. You have to do favors for different characters to increase your relationship with them, and that will unlock more deeper quests that are basically like loyalty quests for these side characters, and they unlock really, really good shit, whether it's really good armor, new abilities, new skills that are locked behind some of these quests, or maybe a new mech, or who knows, you know. But these support missions were locked behind post game in the English version, but in the Japanese version, you can do these support missions anytime. Now in the definitive edition, if you need to level up, you can do that anytime you want. You can. There's a convenient one-stop shop for grinding, and it was so easy. Like some of these missions will last literally like 10 seconds. 10 seconds and I get a level up, boom, just like that, you know. Or like I'm like a third or fourth of the way through leveling up, so it's way less of a grind, and that's how I'm able to afford like millions and millions of dollars, because you can just grind through that. What else is there? It's such a massive game. It's just you can invest in different companies that will create new types of weapons for you. This is a massive game of systems. You know? So if you're a gamer that likes battle systems and how diverse they can be and how interesting they can be, and like how just many different things that you can upgrade and level up, this is the game for you. You know.
Well, can I ask you, Gene? Because one of the major sticky points for people trying to get into Xenoblade as a series is that the battle systems are so complicated to learn. Like the first game felt like I was learning how to play, you know, poker, let's say. And then the second game felt like I was learning how to play poker while juggling at the same time, right? And like a lot of people are just like, I'm just not feeling this, because you do literally have to like, I had to go online and find tutorials outside of the game because the second game's combat system is so bizarre. So what do you say about the combat here? Is it simpler?
So did you like the combat in Xenoblade 3?
I haven't played it yet. I have not played it yet. My goal is to play it this year.
They simplified it a ton for Xenoblade 3 because I think they understood that 2 was a little weird and 1 was very confusing.
2 was fucking strange.
What 2 was really weird. 2 was so strange. I've already forgotten how to play it, right? 1 is simpler but slow. It's really slow, right? And you do so much fighting there. So that's why Xenoblade Chronicles X is actually the second Xenoblade Chronicles. This was made before 2. And then when people played it, they're like, oh, this is a much better combat system than part 1. And then when people play part 2, they're like, where the fuck did the combat system for Xenoblade Chronicles X go? That was great. It's much simpler, where you just have the bar of abilities, and you just hit the ability and then it'll do it. It's the same. It's the same like auto attack, but then the abilities will work. And the game is tutorial. The original X had really bad tutorials. So it was really hard to understand. That was a huge problem for the game. This game has really good tutorials and a deep instruction manual that you can read, and it'll just outline all of that stuff. For me, I think the only thing I really needed a tutorial on was the overdrive system, which is the special kind of party mechanic in this game, where you're just kind of like in like hyper mode, and you can just like do a bunch of attacks. So like all your attacks are in different cooldowns, right? Just like an MMO, right? you're waiting. You do your heavy overhead slash, and then you wait maybe 10 seconds, and you can do that again from the side or whatever, right? Like just like an MMO. When you do overdrive, you can do that infinitely. You can just keep it'll just refill really, really fast. So if you just do an overhead slash, maybe wait 3 seconds, and you can do another overhead slash again. Here's another thing though, a new thing on Xenoblade Chronicles X. There is a bar that refills at the beginning of each fight called the recast bar. And you don't have to wait for cooldowns at all for any of your moves as long as that bar is full. So if you want to just go into a fight and just like launch all your special moves and just like DPS the hell out of the fight and just kill a guy, just to get out of the way, you can do that. You don't have to wait for cooldowns anymore. So they made the system in the Chronicles X version of the battle system is the best version that they've ever done. It is the fastest. It is so fast. Like it really just feels like I'm playing an action game where I'm just pressing Y just to do my heavy attacks every once in a while as I'm doing like the assault rifle and everything like that. So yeah, I think that's a very, very, like, I'm so glad that you brought that question up, because that is a huge hangout for a lot of people where they try to play it and it's like, this is so much to learn. I'm just not in the mood for this right now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally get that. You know, every time I want to replay Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm just like, I don't know how to fight anymore, you know?
Right, yeah. 2 had, so, not to like totally get off topic, but one of the things about 2 was that you had to also factor in, essentially you're doing elemental attacks, and then you need to build up each, as you attack the enemy, they get these orbs around them because you did the elemental attacks, and then you have to do the opposite element to break the orbs, and it was this whole thing, and it's like it was just layer upon layer upon layer. And that's why I say it was like poker while juggling, and you know what, while also like trying to cook a 4-course dinner. Like it was just so much.
Xenoblade 2 is ridiculous. I screamed when they give you a tutorial pop up at the final stage. I was like, why are you still introducing systems? This is literally right before the final boss. What are you doing? This is crazy. But also, like, nothing like that in Xenoblade Chronicles X, and nothing like that in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Each type of attack, your melee attack will be orange. Your range special attack will be yellow. There are purple attacks that will do buffs. There are blue that will do debuffs on the enemy. There are blue attacks that will do buffs on the party, and the green attacks are kind of like barriers or maybe HP too. Sometimes some HP recovery. So very, very much simplified. There's no elemental damage or anything like that. It's very, very color coded, and the advanced trick of Xenoblade Chronicles X is going into infinite overdrive, where you're basically in overdrive state forever, and you're always spamming special attacks forever and ever. But that is complicated, but it's still not that complicated. Where there's a special method of doing attacks in a certain order of colors that you can just keep that going. So you can only do yellow, yellow, yellow. You can't do yellow and orange because that'll stop the overdrive. But if you do yellow, 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 and you run out of yellow attacks, switch to like a blue or purple attack, and it will reset the counter, and then you can go to orange attacks, and then it'll just keep going again. And then switch back to a blue or purple, and then do a yellow attack, and then you just keep going and going and going. You're just hitting the enemy over and over again. Boom, 9 billion damage by the end of the fight. You know, because they couldn't even do anything. You're also healing the whole time you're in overdrive state. So like you're just like in this massive state of just like power and like refueling yourself, which is crazy. But that's pretty simple. But that's like a 10-minute YouTube video to understand. That's pretty complicated, but you don't need that system to beat the game. Like I went pretty far, and I never beat original Xenoblade Chronicles X. Once I got the robot, I was like, I feel like I beat the game. I'm done. You know, I'm just not in the mood for this game right now. So I'm definitely further in the game than I've ever been right now. But it's kind of thanks to Infinite Overdrive. It's really, really fun. Shout out to the YouTuber NL or Enel, I guess. They did strategy guides for Xenoblade Chronicles X like 9 years ago, and all of that still holds up. I can guarantee you, I've been using them too.
Cool.
But mostly just to understand the overdrive system, because that's really the only complicated aspect. Again, something that you don't need to do, but if you want to master the game and if you want to kill the end game bosses, which I haven't even fought yet, so I have no idea what I'm waiting for. You know, that like you can do that. But like that's why that there's like a huge level of like skill like availability in the game where you can just like kind of ignore everything and just do side quests and just have fun and collect weapons and you can get some good weapons out in the field too. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, last night I just got my first super weapon for my scale. You know, the scale is good. The scale is the this game's name for mech, basically. It's the skeleton, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the J like the just the RPG of all time. I think, you know.
Oh damn.
It's an RPG of all time.
So from what I understand, it's way less story focused than the other Xenoblade games, or the proper ones, I should say. Is there enough narrative or story to keep you going, you think, Gene?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. You just have to suffer through the bad presentation. Yeah, like you know how in Yakuza will have like the great cutscenes, right?
Right.
But then certain sub stories will just have like the characters just kind of standing around and flapping their mouths.
Yes.
Right. That is, right. So I can't see Brad's fucking face.
Sorry,
so
I was nodding. Then I was like, oh yeah, you can't see me. Right.
Fucking John Cena over here.
Yeah, like Brad just
Can't see
like
me.
fucking like idolatry for fuck's sake, you know?
Notice me, senpai.
Yes.
Notice me.
What was the question again? Oh yeah, story. But as long as you understand that most of the story will be told in that way, in that presentation, and you can pay attention through that kind of presentation, then the story is good. There's a lot happening with the story. Xenoblade Chronicles X probably has the craziest plot twist out of all of them, actually.
Wow.
You know, it's a really good story. It's once you get on the planet, there are other alien races that you have to deal with. So there's a whole like society, like class system that you got to deal with, and you run into other alien races, and you could partner with them. You know, this game has choice. This game has dialogue choice, and the dialogue choice matters. It matters.
Okay.
Depending on, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the conversation, and it'll say, you know, like, do you tell the person to fuck off, or do you sympathize with them, right? Like the choices can be that vast. Like it's like BioWare like levels of like choice, right? And then depending on what you choose, your quest could be completely different. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm into that.
Yeah. There's a lot going on where I'm just like, okay, I have to like look up like what these choices are, you know, before I fuck up and like miss certain things or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll affect whether you get a fucking character or not, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very like Baldur's Gate in that regard, if anything, you know? This is a game from 2014, 2015, you know?
Yeah.
And this game was already had all this stuff going. It just didn't have Final Fantasy VII level, like remake levels of presentation, or not even Xenoblade levels of presentation. It's just an MMO game. It's a single player MMO. You know, that's probably the best way to put it. But the story is a banger if you can deal with it. You know, there are cool wars that happen. You know, there are real cool battles that really hype you up. You know, there are really cool moments like that where it's just like, oh my god, this is the moment where we're all gonna band together and fight this enemy or whatever. You know, there's a lot of hype moments like that too. So,
yeah.
You know, it exists. Again, it's really like Halo, but made by the guy who almost directed Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a cool concept? You know?
Yeah. Just one more question. So the mechs are a big part of the game. Once you get the mechs, is there any reason to like not be in the mech?
Yeah, the world is so diverse in its locations that there are certain caves that you can't enter the mech with.
Okay.
There are certain like areas or dungeons or castles that you can't. That it's just like there's a door. You can't fit the mech. You can't fit the mech through the door.
Okay.
You know. And then that's the crazy thing. This game has whole cave systems where even you go into the cave, there's a whole fucking level inside this goddamn mountain that you didn't even realize, you know? And then when you go through there, that's where like shit like the super weapons are at, or like the really good treasure, you know?
Yeah.
Also, but I mean that's why the mechs come in later, because the first half of the game is really exploring the world on foot, really understanding the scale of this world, right? And then once you kind of understand that scale, and once that kind of gets kind of boring, the game introduces mechs to you and just like, oh, this is a whole new game now. In terms of fighting, however, I have rarely fought. So far, I'm not supposed to be talking about this. So like, let's
talk
pretend
about
I'm
it then.
talking about
Don't
the
talk
Wii
about
version,
it then.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like what I remember from the Wii U version, we'll say that, right? What I remember from the Wii U version is that I rarely got out of the mech to fight. I was usually in the
Okay.
mech because the mech's weapons are so strong that like you could get a sword that could just basically one shot like a lot of like enemies, you know. Um, but that that's still fairly early in the game. I have no idea what post game looks like. There's all these tricks on kitting out your mechs to one shot even the super bosses too. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
But that's if you like outfit your mech with like the max level weaponry and the super weapons and everything like that too. But yeah, great question. I do think that the option is still there. You can easily just hop out of your mech and just fight too. But the mechs hit so hard.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Okay. 6 sounds very good. This game still a little over 3 weeks away. So hold tight, but Genie did a good job of selling it.
Yeah.
You got me
it's,
interested. I had no interest in playing it, but now I'm kind of interested.
It's a crazy game. There's literally no other RPG like this except the closest thing is maybe Final Fantasy 14, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I played Final Fantasy 14, I was like, holy shit. This is like Xenoblade Chronicles X,
That's funny.
That's how I felt. I was like, whoa, finally a game that feels as expansive and as massive as Xenoblade Chronicles X. And obviously Final Fantasy 14 is like 10 times bigger than even Xenoblade Chronicles X. But like that real sense of scale and majesty that you have exploring the world, like you can only find it in Final Fantasy 14 and you can find it also in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Seamless world, by the way. 0 loading times. That's the thing.
It's like Zelda.
Yeah. It's like Zelda, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, they're all zoned out. Even Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you have to load into to these massive areas. They're huge, but you had to load into them. Versus Chronicles X is just a huge Breath of the Wild style map, but just like way bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really do think that if you were interested in a single player Final Fantasy 14, this is literally the closest thing you can get to it.
Okay, sounds interesting. Yeah,
this game. Yeah, and this game is I chose this game over playing Monster Hunter because this is still a very complicated game to understand and to get. Like there's still so many systems. There's still so many like upgrading systems that I have to like wrap my head around that I still haven't even like done so yet. And that like to play that with Monster Hunter, which has its own really weird ass upgrade system, and like I have to remember all the moves, and I'm a Charge Blade main, which is like one of the hardest weapons to actually use. So I have to retrain my brain for that one. So that's been really difficult. I've been playing Monster Hunter Wild for 2 days. We can talk about that on what we're playing.
Yeah, when we get to what we're playing, we'll touch on that a little bit. But yeah, I thought we'd let Gene cut loose for a little bit because he is very excited about this game. And
I hope this game. It'll be really funny if Xenoblade Chronicles X actually becomes the mainstream breakthrough hit
for Xenoblade, maybe.
For Xenoblade, yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
I do think that people have been clamoring for a game like this, something that has seamless open world loading, something that is just very deep and systems based. We have so many games right now that are just dumbing down everything, including Monster Hunter Worlds, actually. Or Wilds, right?
Yeah.
So many different big games that are just dumbing down systems. Avowed is dumbed down. Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't. Elden Ring wasn't. But other than that, though, like Dragon Age Veilguard was dumbed down. So I think people really want a game that really treats its players like smart people.
Yeah.
Like no, you'll be interested in this. Just learn this and figure this out, and you're gonna have a fucking great time.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, just a couple more weeks for the rest of us to be able to check it out. All right, guys. Let's talk about some more news. Tony Hawk is coming back, baby. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 has been rated by the Infocom Media Development Authority of Singapore. Official announcement is scheduled for March 4th. So years ago, we had the Tony Hawk 1+2 remake that came out from Vicarious Visions. It was a great remake of those two games. I played it quite a bit. It was really fun. And they're doing 3 and 4 now, which is great. I really like 3 a lot. I haven't played 4, actually, I don't think. So I am kind of interested in it, but are any of you guys Tony Hawk fans?
Oh,
yes.
I mean, yeah. as a kid, I don't have it nearby as a prop. Damn it. I have the Tony Hawk like tech deck board, but it's like the big one. But as a kid, Tony Hawk was like the absolute coolest guy, first of all. And then, yeah, I remember going over friends' houses and playing the games. I don't remember which one she had though, because she always already had like the disc in. So I can't remember which one it was that I actually played at. It was my friend Chloe. I'd go over her house and play it, and we would just have a blast. And we were awful at it. That was the biggest thing, is we were terrible at it, but it was still so fun. It was just so fun. Yeah. So I'm really stoked about this, and maybe I'll actually be good at it this time.
Yeah. Gene.
Huge Tony Hawk fan. Tony Hawk games were most of my college memories in terms of gaming. I was roommates with a bunch of skaters. I lived in Orange County, so this is very.
Yep.
This is very
heart of it.
Yeah. You know, I was in the atmosphere. This is when you know, skate punk was still popular. Although my first exposure to the skating culture was through hip hop, actually. So that's why all these rock songs and like Rage Against the Machine on the Tony Hawk soundtrack really confused me. We only played the rap songs in the dorms. But of course, Superman is classic, right?
Oh yeah, from Goldfinger. Yeah.
But Tony Hawk 3 and 4, loved them. They were kind of the better ones, even though Tony Hawk 2 was the breakthrough hit.
Yeah.
I think I love 3. I love 4. I know that I didn't play them as much, but I remember liking them better. I was like, oh, these games are just better. You know, just the fluidity, the different manual controls that you can have, the different tricks. It was just way more tricks that you can do. There's a variety of tricks besides just grinding and speeding up. You know.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Thug, the Tony Hawk Underground, come back too.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I haven't played a lot of them, but yeah. 3 I had a ton of fun with. Those were the first like PS2 ones. So yeah, 1 and 2 were on PS1. One of them was on N64 at least. Tony Hawk 1 I think was. But yeah, awesome games. Really fun. Really happy to see these come back, especially if they're the same quality as those last remakes. As a skateboarding kid in Orange County during these times, it was, right at home. They nailed it. A lot of the stuff. It's funny, Gene, you talk about your crew was only like hip hop. Mine definitely was like the skater punk, stuff like that. So a lot of those bands on there, I was like, oh yeah, I knew these bands. So it's really funny. It's
all my crew were like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah.
Because like all the skate videos we used to, I used to get so high. I just watched skate videos all day. That was all we did was just watch skate videos and just like, yeah, that was so sick.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, hip hop always had like a spot in skateboarding, of course, but
yeah, for sure. I mean, punk too, of course, too.
Yeah, those two are always kind of.
But like, but yeah, the videos were just so cool. And just live it out in a Tony Hawk game. Just a dream. Tony Hawk was life for a while.
Yeah. Shout out Tony Hawk games.
I think the series that replaced Tony Hawk in terms of like hype for me and in terms of like just completely overwhelming my whole life was Halo. Probably after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tony Hawk was it for a while.
Yeah. Shout out Birdman. Still skating. Damn. How old is Tony Hawk now? Let me look at this.
Dude, he has a grandkid now. All right. He's fucking
he has
crazy.
Kurt Cobain's grandkid, man.
Oh, he's
fucking wild.
He's 56. Yeah, he's crazy, dude. Tony Hawk, shout out, man.
Yeah, I mean, he put out an Instagram story about his grandkid, and he was like, "I wish Kurt Cobain was here. Kurt would love him." And I'm like, dude, fucking, like, it made me want to cry, man. Like, Kurt Cobain is like the most important person in my life. So it's like to see Tony Hawk like being like, man, I wish Kurt Cobain was still here. It's just like, fuck, no shit, man. You know?
Shout out Tony Hawk.
It's also just. It's the most 90s mashup in the world. Tony Hawk's, son, right, marrying Kurt Cobain's daughter, wedding officiated by a member of REM. It's like,
are you serious? I didn't even realize that. That's crazy.
It's one of the fucking. It's like this is just all the 90s vibes.
Wow.
And yeah, dude. But finding out that Tony Hawk was a grandpa, and I was like, this. My back hurts. Suddenly I feel very old. I'm like Bilbo Baggins suddenly aging when he stops carrying the ring around all the time. It's like, oh God, it happened.
Did you guys ever see the tweet of someone that said like, when the race war is happening, I got to kill Tony Hawk, and it's the picture of the dude crying. And Tony Hawk responds below and says, I appreciate the hesitation, though. It's so good, man. Tony Hawk's real.
Yeah, I love all his tweets about people saying you look like Tony Hawk and not buying that it's really him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I love how many times that's happened to him. Like, it's or the time he tried to get a rental car and they thought someone submitted his name as a joke, and he's like, I'm waiting for my car, and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's really Tony Hawk. They thought someone, they were just getting pranked.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I knew a kid in high school. His dad looked like Tony Hawk, and we used to call him Tony Hawk, and he had no idea what we were talking about. It was sick.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, shout out Tony Hawk. All right, guys, just a little thing right here. There is a new Mario Wonder Switch OLED bundle coming out, I believe. I saw it at Best Buy only, but there's a link right there. So if any of you, it looks like just a normal Switch OLED with the blue and red Joy-Cons. So no special design on it, but it comes with Mario Wonder, a digital code for it. And it's going to be $349.99. So if any of you are looking to get a Switch last minute or something like that for someone else or yourself, you can probably pick this up. Mario Wonder is an awesome game, so not a bad bundle. But I don't know. Just a little thing. Interesting to see. Maybe that'll be their last big bundle before Switch 2. We'll see. Because they've already done Mario Kart and all that stuff. And I can't see them doing anything else, but yeah, if you're interested in another bundle, it's right there. Also, there's a live stream coming up for Nier's 15th anniversary. Square Enix has confirmed a live stream to celebrate the Nier series' 15th anniversary, airing in Japan on April 19th. No idea if there'll be an English broadcast. Starts at 2 a.m. Pacific time. Planned to be 2 hours and 30 minutes long around that time. So, and recently, Nier Automata has sold over 9 million copies. So, seems like they've teased a new Nier game in the past, like a new mainline Nier game, I guess, not the mobile game. So maybe we could get something from this. I don't know. I could see it just being more 2D merch or 2B merch, selling more figures and dolls and all that kind of shit for you guys out there. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll see something new. You think we'll see anything newsworthy, Gene, at this?
I don't know. I'm not ready for it. I don't know if I'd be ready for a new Nier, you know?
Well, Nier came out in 2017, Nier Automata. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
How long can you milk 2B? I mean, forever is the answer, but...
You can't say that. You can't say that, Brad.
Oh, well, I just did. Just keep it going. Keep milking it. Because they will not stop with 2B. She's in every video game. She's in multiple fighting games, guest characters, and everything. So hopefully we get a new Nier tease. I would love to see a new Nier game. Micah, have you played Nier games at all?
No,
Okay.
no. I played the demo for Nier Automata, and I remember saying, I don't understand what the fuck this is. Because all I could think of was that it was the genre of the game switched 6 times in the demo, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I respect what you're doing.
Yeah, that's Nier.
But I'm not about this.
Yeah. That's a game. They will keep doing that.
Yeah, they love fucking with you in those games.
Yeah.
So shout out though. We'll see what they got. We'll keep an eye on it.
That continues all the way to the last boss. So
yeah.
Yeah.
There is a Nier Automata port also on Switch if any of you are curious out there. I don't know how good it is, but it's available.
Great.
It's great.
It's great.
Okay, there you go.
They're locked to 30 FPS, almost no other detail lost, you know.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So if you have a Switch, you can play it.
There's less grass on the field, but honestly, who cares, you know?
If you're playing on
there wasn't that
Switch,
much grass in the field anyways in the first place, right?
Right.
So
Are you saying that as a euphemism about 2B, or is this about actual grass?
No,
Now we are.
that. Yeah.
Now we can.
But Yokotaro really wanted Nier Automata on the Switch.
Yeah.
He was begging for it. He was the one port begging for Square to do
Port
it.
begging. That's awesome.
So I would go check it out. It is an excellent version. It has all the upgrades and quality of life features you could want.
Yeah.
Awesome game.
Yeah, cool games. Nothing
I
really
would say
it.
it's a top 5 game for me for sure.
All right. Very nice.
And probably the best story ever told in games, I think.
It's good. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about what we're playing. Gene, we got a little from you. Let's head over to Micah, then we'll go back to you, Gene. Micah, talk to us.
Yeah, I hit the 60-hour mark in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I really like being Henry. I'd rather be Henry than be me.
Oh, I'm Henry.
So for several
Yeah.
hours a day, I go be Henry.
Where's Hans? Sir Hans. He cracks me up when he talks.
Oh, dude, so I'll just be sitting next to Colin and I'll be like, what are you doing in here? Get out. And he's like, what? And I'll just be like, I'll call the guards. Like, and I just start NPCing him like he doesn't belong in the room as they do to Henry constantly.
When you're hungry, Micah, do you go, feeling a bit peckish?
Oh my God, I get so mad at Henry.
He never shuts up about being hungry.
The hunger will tick to the very first % of hunger. Yeah. And he's like, I'm so hungry I could eat a wolf. And it's like, no, you're not. Yeah. I can see the meter, bro.
Shut
you're
up,
like barely
Henry.
hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had still been spending a lot of time doing the side quests and side activities, and I'm pretty over leveled now for the main quest, which is great though, because I love being over leveled, especially for the stealth. This game requires a lot of stealth, and there is an entire like sub series of missions that it involve. So like a lot of the side quests, I'm just avoiding spoilers. A lot of the side quests involve stealth. At first I hated it, but in reality, it really is setting you up for the main quest line, which also has a decent amount of stealth. So doing a lot of the side stuff in between the main story missions is definitely the way to go if you want to be at a comfortable level, not just combat-wise, but stealth as well. Of course, there are potions you can use to enhance your stealth abilities temporarily, and I have used those. There was one mission I did that required me to pick a very hard lock, and I previously had not been able to do that, but I was like, well, we're going to use the quick finger potion, and I was a high enough level that worked, and I was able to pick that lock and proceed with the mission, because I thought, damn, I might have to go level up my stealth a bit more and come back. So I definitely recommend doing a good number of the stealth side missions just so that you're ready for the main quest, because the thing is, you'll have a choice. This is all dependent on how you want to play. You're either going to need to knock out and or kill people to steal their keys, or be good at pickpocketing. But if you're not good at stealth, you're probably not very good at pickpocketing because it sucks. Or you're going to need to do what I did and just do a lot of those stealth side missions so that you're ready for the main quest and that you're an appropriate level. I still struggle with some of the lockpicking stuff, but now I always keep that, lockpicking potion on me. And I am just getting better at it overall as I level up. So I definitely recommend, you don't have to go as crazy as I did and like clear the map of most of the quests, but I definitely respect that this is the kind of the better way to play it. As with most games, pepper in some of the side quests, don't just mainline it, because otherwise you just will not be an appropriate level and you're just going to be throwing yourself at the wall over and over trying to get past things when you're just not an appropriate level for it. You don't have the right gear and all that. Like the game has this great outfit system where you can set 3 preset outfits. Yep. And having a great stealth outfit is like essential. So you can easily switch to that and be quiet and not be clanking around in your plate armor and all that. But yeah, I'm just loving it. The key thing that sticks out to me is that every time I see how long I've played, I'm shocked because it does not feel that way at all. I really just can't get over that I'm still so psyched to play it. Every time I pick up this game, I'm just so excited to be back in that world and to be Henry again. Like yesterday, Colin and I were going to sleep and I was like, I wish I was being Henry right now, or I'll say like, I wonder what Henry's up to. I really am just not sick of it at all. Part of me said, man, maybe I shouldn't do all these side quests. I don't want to get burnt out. And I can't even begin to describe how not burnt out I am. I'm just having so much fun with this game still. Disappointed to find out 60 hours in that you can't get a haircut in this game like you could in the first one. Like you can't change your hairstyle or beard. Apparently it's going to be a patch this summer. And I'm like, this isn't a fucking online game. I mean, yeah, I guess there'll be DLCs at some point, but a little lame. But I also completely forgot to even check because Henry was just so busy all the time. So, but yeah, man, I'm just loving it. I definitely need to have this wrapped before Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out. I doubt it would take me 3 more weeks though. Yeah. I mean, But it's just so good. It's just so good. Once you really master the combat and everything, man, this game's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I'm just over the moon with it. There's nothing else that I even want to like attempt to play. I just want to get through this game and really savor it. And then I have other things that I'm planning to get to. Like I got to get back to my Zeldas.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Zelda game in a bit. I got to get back to playing through those, like we discussed. Or maybe I'll never play one again. Maybe Henry's changed me, but man, it's just so fucking good. I just can't get over the fact that every time I go to play this game, I'm so hyped about it. And it's saying a lot because I have had other games where it's like you're 60 hours in and you're just like, when's this going to be over? And conversely, for this game, with the variety of side missions, I did a mission the other day that literally was like a mini LA Noire. Like you're solving a mystery, like an in-depth mystery. And it was fucking incredible. And it's just a side quest. And it's like that optional content is just so good. I can't get over it. So I know people are probably annoyed that every week I'm playing the same thing, but man, oh man, I just love being Henry.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to stop being Henry.
Yeah. I'm like 33 hours in it, I think, Micah. And it's great. Yeah. I think the quests are really good. I'm still interested in the narrative even after all this time. I'm not doing every side quest. I'm just kind of doing them here and there when I feel like it. But I think it's a delightful game so far. There's some jank in it, but nothing too bad. We talked about this before.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Like I found out through the Discord that apparently there's a perk that if you enable it, like causes your game to stutter horribly. And this dude had to like respec Henry and not buy that perk this time around because it caused so many problems. I still have an issue where every time I boot up the game, I can't hit continue. I have to click on load game first, then go back, and then I can click continue. But I can't, it's grayed out every time I start the game.
Weird.
Like there's a bunch of weird, I got the never ending gulp. I don't know if you've had that,
No.
where if you're in a battle and you try to take a potion and you die while taking the potion, the gulping sound never stops. and like you'll reload your save and like it's just persists. I had to completely shut down the game and restart it. I've had that happen a couple times. I felt like I was part of the club. I finally saw one of the NPCs where they slide around instead of walking.
I saw that a couple times.
This dude was literally, he was supposed to be on a bench eating food and he was just sliding around the town eating a bowl of whatever. So yeah, the jank so far has been in a lovable way and not a game breaking way, so I can forgive it. But it definitely is there, and the load times have gotten way worse after getting to the second region in the game. Like the load times are like, I won't say atrocious because they're still not as bad as they were on Switch, but they're not nearly as snappy. So there are some issues. The Euro jank is definitely there.
Yeah, it's real. I was fighting some guys yesterday, Micah, and they both just went through a wall when I was fighting them. Then they couldn't get back to me, and I couldn't fight them anymore. But I needed to fight them to progress through something, so I had to reload the game. But I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that jogged my memory. I was doing a side quest. I was supposed to fight this guy, and they literally, he ran out the door, and the door shut behind him, but I could not open it. And it wasn't locked. Like there was no prompt to open the door.
Yeah.
And I stood there, and eventually he just ran back through the wall. Like the door did not open. He ran through the wall and came back into the room. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to reload, 15 minutes of gameplay. Yeah. I'm fortunate because I have had some issues like that, but they have resolved themselves in ways that haven't like really annoyed me.
Yeah.
But those problems are shitty when they occur of like, oh, dude, I keep having an issue actually where I will rescue someone. When you do a fast travel, sometimes those little like events, those random events pop up. And one of them was like this woman was being attacked and I saved her from the bandits. And she said, thank you. And then she was like, guards, he murdered them.
That's
and it's like,
to me,
what?
Yeah.
And then I had to kill her because I was about to get caught for saving some woman's life, right? And that has happened to me a couple times where it's like the NPCs say thank you for saving me, and then they're like, you bastard, and just like immediately start running to go get help. So yeah.
Funny ass game.
But an excuse to kill some random dude.
Yeah.
Not all bad, right?
Not all bad.
when something goes really wrong and I know I'm going to reload the save, I play it like Grand Theft Auto and I just start killing everybody in sight. and then I reload it. 'Cause it's just really fun to see people's reactions. Because you'll punch someone in the face and they'll be like, "What was that for?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Hey." And then like you just like fucking murder this dude and he didn't even put up a fight. It's really funny.
Excellent. Okay. Gene, we talked about in depth with Xenoblade, but you said you were playing a little Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, just very little. I've only played like maybe like 2 hours of it, but yeah, it feels great. What can I feel like a lot of what I can talk about it people already played.
Sure,
in
you
beta.
can just keep it real brief then.
Yeah. But I was really surprised at how well the mount system works. If you just press right on a D-pad, that is the weapon switch.
Yeah.
But what happens is that you whistle, and then a mount will just appear out of nowhere and just pick you up, and then you have your other weapon stored on the mount.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you just hop on the mount, and then you just switch weapons. And then what's great is that this gives you an ability, as I posted on Twitter, my clip gives you ability to jump, and you can jump and mount the monster. So it was cool that I was fighting, pretty much like the second or third monster that you fight. And I was having a little trouble because Charge Blade, again, is a really hard weapon to remember. I did a little training on it. And I was like, okay, I think I got it. But then like, as I'm fighting, I'm like my memory started to fall apart and I start getting nervous that I get hit. So I'm like, all right, let me just switch to the Great Sword and just like go Ooga Bunga on this monster. Right. And that's what I did. You could switch right to the easier weapon, and then I was able to hop on the monster, stab it on its back twice with its knife, and then just do a finishing attack and knocked it down, and then that opened it up to for me and my friends to start attacking. It's cool to have wound.
The wound mechanic.
Yeah, the wound mechanic, where you press the L2 and you can zoom in on a certain attack or certain area, and it'll make it glow red. So you know you have to hit that. Apparently all the reviews say that the game is a lot easier, and I can kind of see that, because like even when you're on the mount, it's just kind of auto. You're just kind of auto running, Yeah. It's kind of auto runs to the monster, so there's no real hunting involved. You just kind of go to the monster and then you fight. And then the monster will still run away. I still don't have an understanding of the scale of this world and how big it is, but the monster will run away, and that's always cool and welcome. Yeah. But the mounts make it really easy to just keep on following, and you never have to really worry about where you're going. Also, there are shortcuts, which are really cool cinematically. Where if you're chasing a monster and they're really far away, you can enter into certain areas that will just make the mountain jump, and it becomes a fucking Final Fantasy cutscene, which is really cool. But all of a sudden you're there at the monster. Personally, I think I have no issue with Monster Hunter becoming a little easier and more accessible. Sure. Because I always thought that the series was really hard. I think the controls were really hard. It is. I think
it's complex for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's a sense of challenge came from struggling with the controls, and the complexity of it. And so now that like the inventory system, I think has been de-emphasized a little bit, whereas in the past games, like you really have to worry about like what you're bringing on the hunt. Like, okay, let me make sure I have this. Let me make sure I have this. I have these potions. I have this type of food. You have to worry about certain kinds of food that you have with you. You have to worry about certain kinds of food that you eat to get buffs before the hunt, which all still exists, but apparently all of that stuff is just not as important. You can just kind of go on hunts and just fight. Jez Corden, a friend of the show, said that he wasn't even refilling his pouch with more potions. He was just he was raw dogging each hunt, just going in there with no preparation, and he did just fine, which is crazy. That's not supposed to happen in Monster Hunter. You're not supposed to like go into a hunt unprepared and then still win. Yeah. So it's clear that they made the game just a lot more accessible. But again, I have no problem with that. As someone who is just hopping off of Xenoblade X and whose brain is pretty fried from it, I was actually pleased to see how easy it was to get back into Monster Hunter. Actually, the story itself seems really linear. You're just kind of doing story missions, you know.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah.
It definitely feels a lot like Monster Hunter Rise, which was a Switch exclusive for like a good year or so, right?
Yeah, it was.
But like the speed of the game feels, you know, because Monster Hunter has always been traditionally slow, you know. I think Dark Souls and Demon Souls was inspired by Monster Hunter originally, in terms of how slow the combat was. But now Monster Hunter Rise sped it up to like Marvel versus Capcom almost type levels. And then Monster Hunter Wilds seems to retain that kind of energy, which is disappointing for a lot of people because, you know, Monster Hunter is a series that has been kind of like dual. There'll be the portable version on the DS or the PSP, and then there might be the console version, right, on the Wii or the PS3 or whatever, right? And then Monster Hunter Worlds was the first big major console release, and then Monster Hunter Rise felt like a return to like the handheld mobile version where it was a little simpler and a little easier and a lot faster, like the Monster Hunter Generations game, which are also faster too. But it seems like now for Wilds, for the quote unquote mainline, the big major release of the series, they're adapting the mobile approach and making it much more accessible and much more faster, which again, not a problem for me. Love it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can't wait to play it Friday. Very excited. I love Monster Hunter, so stoked to hop back in there.
Yeah, a lot of people have been hitting me out to play with them.
Nice.
So it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, very cool. As for me playing Kingdom Come, I talked about this on some time, but I've talked about it a couple weeks. But so I'll move on to, I actually started Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii or whatever the fuck it's called. I did start it 4 hours in, I think, about that, Gene. I just got to the point where you can start customizing your ship, I believe. So I just got like a shark cannon on it I made real quick. I haven't shot it yet.
Tutorials in the game too.
Yakuza games often take a long time to get going. Pretty slow start, but I'm enjoying it so far. I kind of wish, Gene, their exploration was better when you're sailing around. I wish you could jump off the boat, or an island wasn't just you loading into like a little tiny combat arena, all that kind of stuff. But
that's all the stuff I talked about.
Yeah,
I think earlier, where it's like there's no immersion. You know,
yeah,
there's no real sense of immersion. It's all fade outs. You know,
yeah, which is disappointing. But the game is still fun overall. I'm still having a good time. I'm still invested in Majima's story. Whatever, he's got amnesia. Figuring all that kind of stuff out. So I'm looking forward to playing more though. I like how a lot of the quests involve getting crewmates now, Gene. That's really fun for your ship and laying those out and putting together the order. They give you like stat buffs and all that kind of stuff. So that's fun. Add some like stakes to the quest, makes it feel a little more personal. So I'm enjoying that so far. And Honolulu's very nice as always. So yeah. I talked about it more.
I've actually been playing it on and off too, just trying to complete my save.
Yeah.
I think I was initially disappointed with the lack of immersion with the ship thing, and I that's still a complaint for me too. But once you're kind of in the groove of just grinding out these ships battles and just like exploring the different islands and just like grinding out the treasures that you find, it just becomes like a routine, and it becomes kind of fun too. So. Yeah, it's definitely a more arcadey collectathon type of version of a pirate game.
And I'm cool with that. I just wish like you could at least explore a little more.
Yeah, I wish at least when you're raiding an enemy ship that it wouldn't switch to a cutscene as opposed to like it would have been fun to just like line up your ship next to the other ship, see like my hookers and like my chefs or whatever like lay out the planks and then like see them climb over to the other ship. In real time, and then Majima himself would just walk over in real time. I wish they figured something out for that. So
yeah, definitely.
But they made this game in like 30 minutes, so who knows?
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's cool. I'm looking forward to playing
not a bad game for a game that made in like they made in like 3 hours, not AI.
Yeah.
So.
I can't believe how many Yakuza games have come out in the last several years. I'm not complaining about it. But it really, with like the scale of these games, seeing like Infinite Wealth, huge game, and like they're not all on that scale, but it's still just like, and meanwhile, Wonder Woman was delayed and then finally canceled. And these dudes are like, we've made 6 games since that was announced. It's nuts.
They're crazy. Their output, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe
on the Switch. They made 4 Xenoblade games on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in 7 to 8 years. That's a 100-hour RPG. Well, the Torna counts too, and that's not as long. But that's 300-hour RPGs in 4 years, And there's definitive edition, but they made definitive edition for 1 and X at the same time as they were making 2 new games, 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
and the DLC for 3, which was massive too, and the DLC for 2, which is also massive too. So
yeah,
it's crazy. You have to wonder at a certain point, what is going on at these studios that they're taking so long. Is it management? Is it lack of talent? I do wonder at a certain point, what are the devs doing? I think that I'm not throwing devs under the bus, but I do think that we're a little too precious with them, to the point where it's like, oh, we can only blame the management, and the management of the studio itself probably is probably
right.
the real the real culprit here, right? So it's like, what are the managers at the studio doing, to speed up development, or make a project coalesce into a thing, as opposed to just not happening for several years and then just disappearing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get back to some news. First of all, I just saw this game get announced, and I thought it looked pretty interesting, so I thought I'd talk about it here. It's called Tanuki Pond Summer. So it looks like you're a little Tanuki guy riding around on a bike delivering mail. And I was like, this game looks adorable. It really reminds me of like the PS2 era. Something I could have seen coming alongside of, what's it called? Katamari Damacy. Kind of around that. Kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah. For
some reason, but it looks really jolly. It's coming to I think it's going to be on Game Pass right away too, but it's going to be on Switch like that. It has one of the Curse to Golf devs working on it as well, which is a cool golf game. So this is their new game. It's from a new studio though, and I just think this is a adorable looking game. Right around doing chores to get paid money, do stuff as a little Tanuki, doing flips on a bike. I'm in, dude. I'm all about this.
Looks dope. Looks very gene coded for sure.
Yeah.
And the publisher is Critical Reflex, the publisher of mouthwashing. So.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Very cool.
Yeah, so a very, very diverse publisher. See, I mean, look, you can make small games. Not every game has to be fucking Wonder Woman.
No. I mean, look at how I had friends who were legitimately excited about Cat Quest. They're on the 3rd one now. Yeah. And it's like, these are cute little games that have their audience, and they don't cost $1 billion to make.
Yeah. Something wrong with smaller games. I mean, I love my huge AAA massive games like Kingdom Come. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody, much like a woman, everybody loves the giant, big sham doobly moobly boobs, all right? But there ain't nothing wrong with some little B cups. Nothing wrong with that,
Itty bitty titties?
They're everywhere.
What was that? That TikTok or whatever. It's like, itty bitty titties in the bop.
I don't know this.
Yeah, Gene knows. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible, but I think a lot of people, for some reason, think that those are Americans, and they were working at Kamala Harris's campaign or whatever. It's like, no, they work at a makeup company in Australia.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Let's calm down, guys. That's an annoying ass video, but we don't need to it's not like the downfall of society or anything like that. It's just a bunch of girls that just wanted to do something stupid.
Goofing, yeah. Fake tan. It's like fake tan and hands in a hoop or some shit like that. They just
fake tan hands in a hoop. Yeah,
they just say a bunch of shit like that. 5'3".
Yeah. I guess it was a TikTok trend. I don't follow TikTok,
I
guess it was a TikTok trend, and they were just following that,
but it caught on. Yeah,
went viral on Twitter. So
yeah, it was weird.
Gen Z Boston a mini.
Yeah, that's it.
Boston a mini. That shit lives in my head rent free too. So
it's there.
Yeah,
but yeah, Tanuki's Pond Summer looking pretty sick. It's supposed to come in late 2025. So. I'll definitely check it out. Maybe all 3 of us will. All right. Let's see here. Bloober Team is teaming up with Konami once again. Let me read this. So Bloober Team posted this on their website. Bloober Team and Konami continue their collaboration. Bloober Team, the Polish masters of horror, and the Japanese giant Konami Digital Entertainment are continuing their partnership, announcing the signing of a new agreement for a joint project. Following the massive success of the remake of one of the most highly anticipated psychological horror games, Silent Hill 2, the developers are now focusing on a new game based on Konami's IP. Konami, a legendary name in the game industry, sought a partner who could breathe new life into its most iconic franchise, Silent Hill. Bloober Team was selected for their expertise in horror and atmosphere storytelling, and in 2021, both companies signed a partnership agreement. In October 2022, during the official Silent Hill 2 transmission live stream, it was announced that Bloober Team was working on a remake of Silent Hill 2, widely regarded as one of the best psychological horror games in history. The success of the remake proved that Bloober Team had perfectly captured the atmosphere and depth of the original while introducing crucial innovations. The game was well received by players, earning an 86 out of 100 on Metacritic and an 88 out of 100 on OpenCritic, along with numerous awards, including Game of the Year 2024 from IGN Japan and Best Horror Game of the Year from IGN Community Awards. The trust built upon the success of Silent Hill 2 laid the foundation for signing of another agreement for a new project. The deal aligns with Bloober Team's strategic plan to expand its internal development decisions within a first-party framework. So they talk a little more about it. But, Gene, what do you think about this as a huge Silent Hill fan?
Yeah, shout out to them. You know, no hate against Bloober. They've evened out, I think.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where it's like, okay, well, let's see what you do next. You know, I wouldn't call them Masters of Horror, the Polish Masters of Horror. I think that's
that made me laugh.
But it's a press release. That's okay. They can call themselves that, right?
Yeah.
You can pump yourself up a little bit.
Pump it up.
But yeah, other than that, no issue. I will be very interested to see whatever they work on next. You know, the theory is that they were definitely going to do Silent Hill 1 because so much of Silent Hill 2's new areas had assets that could fit perfectly.
Yeah.
In Silent Hill 1. If they can make that fast, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that they will move away from just it being a shooter game. You know.
Sure.
I like part of the reason why I don't like playing Silent Hill 2 that much is because it's just a shooting game and it's not a great shooting game. You know.
No.
So, you know, that's why it's not a game that really ages all that well. But you know, we'll see. They still did a good job with it. So I'd be interested to see what they do if they make something original or what. But
yeah, you know, I agree with you, Gene. I think they did a good job with Silent Hill 2 remake. Mm-hmm. I would love a Silent Hill 1 remake. I think that'd be awesome, especially before 3. I think it'd be a good idea, but you never know.
I hope that they re-release the series too, the original series too.
Yeah, me too. I hope
that's really the only problem with the whole remake culture is that, you know, you should have the original available to, for history, for preservation, for education, you know, and for sales too, you know.
Yeah. I want both versions ideally. Like I would love to be able to get the Demon Souls PS3 version easily.
Yes.
PS5, that'd be awesome.
Just make that run regular 60 FPS. You don't have to do anything else to it other than to make it run okay.
It'd be great.
I'm not saying that's easy, but but that's the only thing you should focus on, and that's okay.
I would take it at 30 FPS begrudgingly, but I would take
it. Same. I would totally take it at 30 FPS for
20, whatever the hell
PS3 release too. Just a stabilized version of the original PS3 release. I'll take it. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
I did see videos of the emulated Xenoblade Chronicles X running at 60 frames per second, the original Wii U version.
Yeah.
That shit looks really good. Yeah.
I've seen that.
It hurt me as someone who's playing, you know, the Switch version, and the Switch version runs great at 30 FPS for some parts. It does run kind of janky when you're in Los Angeles, it can chug a little bit, right?
Yeah.
In battles, it's totally okay. In an open world, it can be okay too. But man, seeing that those same battles in 60 FPS, it's so smooth and so nice. Really hoping that the Xenoblade series will get an upgrade in Switch 2. Man, the Switch, whatever the Switch 2 is going to do, like I'm so nervous. But excited.
Please do something good. Please. Please do something good.
It would be a major win if it just if it's like a PS5 type upgrade for a lot of these games. You know,
be awesome.
Yeah.
Mike, I assume you have no interest in playing Silent Hill.
No, but shout out to Bloober Team for going from people would hear that and be like, I don't know if I trust them to make this, to people saying, all right, they did a great job.
Yeah.
It's not for me, but I am happy to see a good ending, you know, a good story so far for a little dev like that. I don't know if they're little or not. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I didn't know they were Polish. Bloober Team.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell that is, except that people would speak of them with some slight contempt.
Yes.
And not trusting that they were going to do a good job. So I'm just happy to see that they've met people's expectations, happy to see that the fans were enthusiastic about the game as well, and excited to see what they do next, despite the fact that it's not for me. I'm just really happy to see wins like that in our little gaming world.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, and the final news story, just really quick here. Dauntless is shutting down. So Dauntless, if anyone doesn't know, was a Monster Hunter-like game that came out years ago, and I played the beta of it. So I haven't played the live version. I remember being okay at the time, but it had survived for a while, but now it is finally shutting down. They put out a tweet, and they said, important update. Dauntless is shutting down on May 29th, 2025. Dauntless will receive no additional content or updates. Dauntless will no longer be available to play on and after May 29th, 2025 at 11:45 PST. Thanks for all for being a part of the Dauntless journey. So, if any of your Dauntless fans out there are looking to play it, you got a little bit more time. You can get in there till May 29th. So, if you're curious about it, make sure to hop in before it's gone for good, which is a shame, but what are you going to do, man? It's sad to see games just get taken offline and erased from history, but it's the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
I enjoyed Dauntless for a little bit, and I actually met with some of the leadership there. They really wanted me to do a story, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do a story in Dauntless.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really glad I didn't. I'm really glad I didn't. I thought it was a good game, but I was like, I'm not sure if this game is going to be like a hit or last or whatever like that. You know, it's cool because like it was a game that tried to be a Monster Hunter, you know, but that's the thing, you know, like you're not Marvel rivals, you know. And again, another game I think is going to sink eventually, but you know, like even then, you just can't be the other thing. You just can't be brand X of the bigger brand, you know.
Yeah, or at least you can't maybe try to survive for like 5 years, 6 years, just updating the same game. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing, but yeah. Shout out to Dauntless.
Yeah, another Epic Games game too.
Yeah, you know? You're right. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys, let's end this show with some questions and write-ins from the audience. If you want to send in a submission of this show, I post a thread every Sunday calling for your entry. So keep an eye out there on our Patreon at patreon.com/lastdaymedia. We do that for all of our shows too, by the way. So you want to send in, keep an eye out for those threads. All right. This is from Throat Coat Goat. Ahoy. Look at this mic influence right here. I was curious if anyone on the show has any experience with Bravely Default series. Default and Second are my top 2 RPGs experiences on 3DS, and 2 on Switch is a great game as well. Looking forward to seeing if we get a 3rd game on Switch too. Thanks. I like Bravely Default. I've played 1 all the way, and 2. I have Second Layer, but I haven't played much of it. But I enjoy them. They're fun RPGs, especially when the first one came out as a very throwback kind of thing. So I'm a fan of the series. I was kind of hoping we'd see Bravely Default 2 on more platforms. It did come to Steam eventually, but I was surprised they never ported it. You guys a fan of these games at all?
I try to play them. They're good. I know, you know, I try to play them because people will say this is what old Final Fantasy used to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I can totally see that, but I just never got into it.
Yeah,
so.
They're very like old school Final Fantasy inspired in terms of like the job class and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Micah?
Yeah, I played Bravely Second. So I played that one when it came out. I had researched at the time, should I play Bravely Default? And the consensus was that you didn't have to play it. And the big reason why I skipped it was because not a story spoiler, but perhaps the structure slightly. People had just said that the game has you do a lot of backtracking in the second half. And they were like, it's just not ideal to explore the whole world, basically. And then the second half of the game is like, all right, go back.
Yeah.
Do it again. And I don't love that in games. It just feels boring. So I took the advice of a lot of forums and just played Bravely Second and just started with that. And I liked it. I didn't love it. So I feel like I'm kind of done with the series. It was good and I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure why it didn't really get its hooks in me the way I thought it would. And I see the name and I'm happy for the rest of the fans, but I don't really get jazzed up about it.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'd try it again in the future, but because I can't pinpoint what I didn't like about it, it just wasn't exciting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You just weren't feeling it.
Maybe it was the story. Maybe it was the character design. They're fucking strange looking.
Yeah, they're like chibi
strange
dolls.
looking.
Mm-hmm.
They're weird, and I didn't love it. So I hope they continue the series because I know it's beloved by many. But no, the one that I did play was good, but it didn't make me want to play any more of what they're going to make.
Cool. Yeah, I hope we get another one. I would be really happy to get another one. They're good RPGs. I don't think they're like amazing or anything like that, but they're solid. I have fun with them. So sometimes I like that traditional, just get your job class and go through there. It was also one of the first games I remember for a Japanese role-playing game having the fast forward button. I remember you could do that in them, and it was pretty unusual at the time. All right, let's see here. This is from Bono Clay. Hey, Fisterinos. My 5-year-old daughter loves Mario and Sonic. I brought her to the movie, got her stuffed characters, and really supported it since they made video game attractive to her, and really supported it since they made video games attractive to her. However, I've hated that fat Brooklynite and that blast processing furry since 1994 when I was her age. What games are the best of the franchise? Oh, what are the best games for these franchises? Super Mario RPG is the most appealing because besides Smash and Kart. Also despise platformers in both 2D and 3D. Is there any hope? Whoa. Whoa, dude. You don't like Mario? Like the platformer Marios? Is this Micah writing in?
These are my people.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah. Did you graduate also? Okay. Gene, can you think of...
is this games for her or for him?
No. I don't know
what this guy's trying to say.
I think presumably maybe what are games that they would both
other than he
enjoy?
really hates mascot characters apparently, but yeah, sorry, Micah.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think maybe what are some games that they would both enjoy that he could play with her?
Yeah,
perhaps.
probably.
I mean, get Princess Peach Showtime first of all.
Doesn't that
because
game
that's
it's okay. It's good.
It's for kids.
Okay.
It's for kids.
My criticism of it is that the entire game is on the A button. Basically.
Okay.
And it's just way too simple for a 30-year-old adult.
Like we said,
for a child, it's be great.
Princess Peach Showtime is what if Balan Wonderworld was good? Balan Wonderworld was another game that only used one button, right?
It sure did. Yeah.
And I try to do that one button, try to do everything. That's Showtime.
Yeah, I beat that whole game.
Yeah, Peach Showtime, it doesn't suck. It's just not for us. It's just not a game for us.
It is actually made for children, I believe, and I think they did a good job with it. But yeah, it did not hold my attention as an adult. I was like, it's way too easy. I think that'd be a cute game for them.
I never beat it, and Peach is my homegirl. I feel bad. Like it's still installed on my Switch, so I do want to get back to beating it just for the sake of finishing it.
Totally.
But,
okay.
Yeah, it's a game for kids. It's like Pirate Yakuza, according to Asmongold. Did you see that clip of?
No.
Yeah, I watched his whole stream. I actually watched most of his video, and he really enjoyed Pirate Yakuza, but he's never played a Yakuza game before. But the kids singing that makes him think that the Yakuza series is a series for kids.
That's funny.
And it's like, dude, please, I like Asmongold as when he talks about stuff that he knows what he's talking about, The problem with him is that he's often talking about, and this is a problem with all streamers. But they're always talking about stuff that they don't really understand, and it just pisses off everyone who knows what they're talking about regarding that topic. Whether it's Palestine or the Pirate Yakuza or the Yakuza series. And it's like, just please, just hold your takes or keep them more general, other than oh yeah, this is clearly just a game for kids and young boys. And meanwhile, the said kid is being beaten to death several times throughout the story.
Yeah,
the kid is being abused several times throughout the story.
Gets
it's ridiculous.
Punched in the face immediately.
Yeah, he gets punched. This is not a spoiler. The kid gets punched in the face within the first 2 minutes of the game. Yeah,
it's really funny.
I gotta play this.
I laughed.
The kid's fine. It's a video game, anyways. But But I mean, again, like this is the same series as Lost Judgment, where you're a 40-year-old attorney and you go to school and you bash these kids through the windows and like through the desk or whatever.
Yeah.
They're slightly older, but they're still kids, and you're still beating the shit out of them. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a series for young men. So.
Princess Peach, good recommendation. Maybe Luigi's Mansion, fun ass game.
Yeah.
Not platforming.
Luigi's Mansion 3,
A little more
puzzles.
problem
You
solving,
guys can work together if you guys can stand each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like he hates his daughter. So
he hates Mario and Sonic at least.
he sounds resentful that his daughter likes Mario and Sonic. You know.
Yeah. He's like, damn it.
And it's like, dude, you got to get over that, man.
And
shout out to your daughter for having great taste.
Yeah.
You know?
Aside from Mario, I guess, for Sonic's pretty much all platformers mostly, but
Sonic Team Racing.
Yeah. I was going to say Sonic Team Racing.
Yeah, the sports games. I don't know. Play the Mario Golf.
Mario and Sonic Olympics. Play the Olympics
yeah,
games.
I was
Those are fun.
Is there one of those on Switch?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're both on Switch.
There you go. I mean, that to give her both of them all together, she'll be like, "Oh my god, they're together in one game." She'd love it.
But regarding the question, what games are the best of the best for these franchises? I mean, Odyssey is obviously the best one, and then for Sonic, it's Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. Those two are the best games.
Okay.
Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, that's good. That is a platformer though, but.
Yeah, I mean, but like
play together at least.
I brought her to the movies, got her the stuffed characters, and really supported it since they made video. Okay, so she hasn't played the games yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one do you get to be the little cats? That was the one
Mario
on Wii U.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, here's what I'm going to say. I hate platformers because I'm really bad at them. I loved that game. Oh, I loved being the little cat Mario. That was so fun. Like I would highly recommend that because I hate platformers, but bro, I loved that game.
Yeah, there you go. Micah approved.
Yeah, and 3D World is also co-op too. So if you want to learn how to enjoy your platform games, you can play with your daughter and have fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, great game. It's probably I would even rank it better than Odyssey, to be quite honest.
3D World, no way. I would not go that far, but I think it's good.
I'd go with that.
Well,
yeah,
we know
I think Odyssey is just like massive that it has more problems, and 3D World is just more focused. That's all I'm saying. I think Odyssey's highs are way higher, right?
Yeah, it's much more focused.
Yeah.
All right,
3D World is just a much more focused experience. Odyssey is like all over the goddamn place, but it's great.
It's an Odyssey.
It's an Odyssey. It's not an adventure. When Reggie was pitching Super Mario Odyssey, that was a good time, man.
Yeah. Shout out Reggie. All right.
Yeah, man, life was better when Reggie was just the president of Nintendo. I'm not talking about like Nintendo life. I'm just talking about like life in general.
Sure, yeah.
Like ever since like Reggie left Nintendo, like everything's just gone to shit.
I liked his interviews with Keeley when he was defending Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. It's not the same game. He's like, it's not the same game. There's new content. And Jeff's like, oh, there's like a new suit. And he goes, yeah. It's just like, all right, Reggie. He's trying to spin it hard.
That's dope. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Reggie.
God bless Reggie.
God bless you, Reggie.
Yeah, the Arkham City Armored Edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the electric gloves. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. It's new content.
It makes his punches 3 times more powerful. Yeah. That's new content, guys. Come on. Yeah. It makes the game way easier. It made the game so much easier. It was ridiculous.
Like ran worse than the other ones too. Jeez.
That's why I had to make it easier.
Yeah, the Wii U special. All right.
I still played the hell out of Arkham City and Arkham Origins on the Wii U too. There was nothing else to play on the Wii U,
No, but that wasn't a reason to do it, Gene.
Like, I like the Arkham games. I'll play them over and over again. I just replayed Arkham Origins completely on the Steam Deck again. It was a great time. Playing that in 60 FPS. Woo.
All right, let's see here. This is from Pleatherface. Do you guys have any obscure games that you champion? Titles that aren't well known, but you have a soft spot for? My pick is Skulljagger on SNES. I only own it because my parents randomly grabbed it from a used game bin at my local jumbo video rental store. It's a side-scrolling action game where you play as a pirate with a magic gum addiction? What? Magic gum addiction? Seriously. Fighting an evil tyrant. It has great sprite work, surprisingly solid mechanics, and an odd but charming vibe. Would love to hear if any of you have similar hidden gems. Really hidden gems? I don't know if
I know ones I haven't mentioned before.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think like what hidden gem, like really hidden gem, can I think of that I liked that was fucking dumb or something like that?
I don't know about dumb, but I always talk about this game every once in a while. Bujingai, the
Bujingai.
Forgotten City.
Yeah, I think I remember you bringing this up. Okay.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a character action game starring Gact, the J-pop star, who's 51 years old and apparently in a new
from
movie.
Crisis Core.
Who's being super jacked or whatever like that. So that's awesome. Jacked Gact. Hell
Jacked
yeah. But it stars Gact, and it is a game that tries to mimic the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style of sword combat and does it really, really well. I can't even explain what the sword combat is, but there's never been another sword combat system like it, and it looks beautiful. To me, I would put it alongside Sekiro as one of the most unique sword combat fighting systems of all time. And no one played it, and no one ripped it off.
Nice, hell yeah. I'll give a shout out to Hook on SNES. Awesome platformer. I think it was good. Developed by Sony, I want to say at the time.
That was one of the original Sony games. Yeah,
really cool platformer. Really liked it at the time. And every time he get hit, he go ooh, and I always remember that. It's good shit. Micah, can you think of anything?
I'm going to give a shout out. This is just a random game I used to play on the computer all the time. It's called Nobby Nuss. And you're playing, it's a little platformer where you play as a squirrel. Colin and I were talking about this because one of my favorite gaming websites as a child, like just little flash games, whatever, was called KiddoNet, which he was like, that sounds like a place where perverts hang out. I'm like, you're right, it does. But my favorite games on KiddoNet were Muppy, which was like a game where you're playing as a little mouse trying to escape cats, and Nobby Nuss, a game where you play as a little squirrel. And I would be elated to hear from anyone in the audience who remembers either of those games, Nobby Nuss especially, because squirrels are my favorite animal. And it was just this cute little platformer. You had to collect all the acorns without getting killed by enemies or whatever. And then Muppy, I think you were collecting cheese and not getting attacked by cats. I think, they shut down KiddoNet years ago. Yeah. So I don't know if you can still go play these anywhere else, but shout out to those. Shout out to KiddoNet. It was an excellent website to go play games.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Let's see here. This is from JB. Hey, Fisters, retro request. I would be interested in a conversation about cover art and manuals. What's your favorites and least favorite? And what do we have to look forward to, as Skynet is sure to do all the future work? From a Sasquatchian who is riding high on Canada beating you in hockey last week. Well, listen here, JB. Canada's got to be good at something, all right? So you can have that.
You got to be good at something.
You got to have at least one thing, JB. But yeah, let's see. Cover art and manuals. I definitely remember some of the old Zelda manuals being really cool. Like there was Zelda 1 and all that kind of stuff. I remember Ocarina of Time had a lot of cool drawings of Link in it, doing like actions, teaching you about the game. I really liked. And of course, a lot of the Final Fantasy ones. Gene, like you'll remember Final Fantasy VII's manual, having all the bios for all the characters and their blood types. All that shit was really cool.
And the cover was the shot of Aerith looking at the ship, right?
Yeah, the Highwind, yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah.
Can you think of any manuals, first of all, that you were a fan of?
I only ever really remember the Zelda ones, honestly.
Yeah, they were good.
I feel like that was a core memory. It was like really kind of the first manuals that actually did something different. And yeah, I don't know. It was just really good. Cyberpunk has a good one, actually, if you get a special edition, you know?
Yeah.
Halo Reach, the special edition came in like a diary for Halsey or whatever. I'm just remembering physical media that came with special editions. So I'm not even answering the question. I have. It's been so long since I've had manuals. I don't remember any of them.
I know,
other than Zelda, honestly.
It's an old thing.
Yeah, it's so old it doesn't happen anymore. And I just remember it. Like I seen like at conventions, people sell manuals for like $10.
Yeah,
and it's like a lot, man. They're just manuals, but like that's how valuable valuable and scarce these are. You know,
it's for like people probably collecting the boxes and everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at the Zelda 1 manual right now. It's really cool. Huge map of Hyrule. You can see all the enemies, a lot of the items. I don't get shit like that anymore. It's really sad, but shout out. Micah, do you have any memories of manuals?
Yeah, not as much because as a kid, I didn't get to own too many games. So it was always fun that the Game Boy Advance games came with actual manuals, but they were quickly lost or my mom threw them out, who knows. And then when I got back into gaming when I was older, manuals were obviously on the way out. And you were lucky to get like a slip of paper inside the case at all. So less so with the manuals, but I do have. This is a game I've never even owned, but I just always loved the cover art. It's Body Count for Xbox 360.
Oh.
I don't know why. That cover, I just love it. I've never even played it, never owned it, but I would always see it at GameStop and be like, that's one of the coolest covers I've ever seen.
Oh, the gun.
And
okay, I remember this.
It's a little, I don't know, kind of rainbowish section on it. It just looks really cool. I never bought it because it was, I don't know, it was expensive, I guess, when I would see it at GameStop. And I heard it wasn't very good. I don't know if that's true. But that cover art has been stuck in my brain ever since I first saw it. So very, very good job to that artist. Sorry, I never played your game. I don't know your game.
Here we go. I looked up best NES manuals and I saw them on eBay. But I remember the original Donkey Kong Country manual because I see. It's been so long that I don't even remember what Super Nintendo manuals look like. But they were like longer books, vertical size or whatever. Because the games were like oblong, right? So you can slide the books into the box, right?
Yeah.
The Donkey Kong Country manual was unique because most of the Super Nintendo manuals just had Super Nintendo and like black and like the cover art from the game, whereas Donkey Kong Country had like all the leaves and everything like that from the palm trees or whatever. So that was like unique and interesting versus anything else. And yeah, it just like I feel like the paper was glossier. I remember like I'm looking at these Super Nintendo manuals. Like I used to like hang on to these and reread them all the time. You know, Illusion and Gaia, Final Fantasy 3, Super Street Fighter 2. You know, fucking. This is why 90s kids are so bitter because like we really had it good in life back in the day. We had Tony Hawk and Kurt Cobain and Tupac Shakur all living and Notorious B.I.G. all living at the same time. You know, Tony Hawk's the only one alive right now, but you know, it's like, you know, we had it really good in the 90s. You know, we had manuals, we had, you know, Final Fantasy games coming out every year, you know.
Yeah. It's good shit.
It's just not the same anymore.
Nope, things have changed. All right. I can't think of any like cover art off the top of my head, but anything you guys want to shout out? Nah, fuck cover art.
All I have is Body Count. That was the only one that came to mind. It was like, I fucking love that cover.
Shout out Body Count. All right.
Somebody let me know if it's a good game or not.
This is from Card Captor Corey. Hey, Punchers. I know that Monster Hunter comes out for other consoles, but Nintendo gets its own monster card hunting exclusive this week in Yu-Gi-Oh! Their Early Days collection. I was a kid who got some of these games from my Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance when I was a kid. A lot of these games were Japanese exclusive until this collection. Not all these are card games either, with Capsule Monsters being a strategy RPG, Dungeon Dice Monsters being a strategy dice-based combat game, and Destiny Board Traveler being a Mario Party-like type game. Are any of you going to look at this collection? I'll be honest, Card Captor, I didn't even know this was coming out.
Nope.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of cool, though. I haven't played a lot of these Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, but that is cool. I'm really happy to see collections come out like this of old games, so I probably won't be checking it out, but I'm very happy that it exists. Micah, I assume you have no interest in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, I knew this was coming, but I was not into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. I remember thinking that looks weird.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, Yu-Gi looks weird as hell.
I was a Beyblades kid. All right. Like I really loved Beyblades. Okay. And I saw Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, it's too far. It's too far. So without the nostalgia factor, I don't know like if this is actually, should I jump in and play these having zero affinity for the show or anything? I don't know.
Yeah. Legendary dub. Shout out 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gene, no interest? Or any interest? Nope.
Okay. Just like Micah, I always thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Looked fucking weird. So I was like, sometimes it's just an art style that doesn't get you, you know? I have friends that don't like Dragon Ball because they hate the way Akira Toriyama draws characters.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but like, you know, like I get that. It, like, you know, Akira Toriyama, like I grew up on, like, you know, for me, characters are supposed to look like that. Yeah. You know, but if you're new or if you're just not used to it, then yeah, I get it. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was not an art style that drew me in. So I was like, I'm good. my ex-girlfriend's little brother was a huge Beyblades fan, so I was also like kind of like tapped into that market more for sure.
Yeah, I was not into
Also,
Beyblades.
I'll say Yu-Gi-Oh has like some legendary shade. That's the insult where he's like, you're a third-rate dueler with a fourth-rate deck.
Yeah, you're a third-rate dueler with a fourth-rate deck. Yeah.
Damn,
and the
son,
meme. There's a lot of memes
him.
from Yu-Gi-Oh. The one where I'm slamming the ground going, it should have been me. Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Legendary show.
I can respect that.
Yeah, meme potential is off the charts in that show. All right, and final entry here is from Sean Mason. Hey, Puncher Uppers. Today, some of my 16-year-old students were excitedly discussing the Switch 2. They mentioned that this will be the first console they're buying on launch day now that they're finally old enough to purchase it themselves. That got me thinking, what are some of your memories of getting a Nintendo console or any console? Whether it was a release day or sometime later. I love to hear your stories. Best, Sean M.
It's fun. I have a lot of memories for Nintendo consoles, if you don't mind me starting off.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I distinctly remember one of my core memories is my dad coming home with a Super Nintendo for Christmas. That was the best Christmas I ever had.
Yeah, that's sick.
Super Mario World, it was just Super Mario World, and that's all I needed, honestly. I couldn't be more excited for Super Mario World. For the Wii is the first console and probably the only console that I actually bought day one myself, because I suspected that it would have been a hit. And I was right. I was like, I was with my ex-fiance and she really wanted a Wii too. So I was like, all right, babe, I'll go to Best Buy and camp out. And we got this. Don't worry, babe. So I went to Best Buy like in the middle of the night, and barely anyone was there. It was just like maybe like 5 or 6 people. So I was like, awesome, cool. Like the Wii Mania hadn't really caught on in Hawaii yet. I know like this was actually literally like the first few months I moved to Hawaii. So the Wii was like one of our few sources of entertainment actually for a while. And I got a Wii, and I was like, awesome. And then the news reports started coming out about how there were Wii shortages, and I was like, babe, we won.
Yeah, jackpot.
We got this already. Had fun with Twilight Princess and everything like that. And finally enough, to cap off, I finally got a 3DS on my last day in Hawaii. My friends Dallas and Ed, a married couple, they just got me a 3DS for as a goodbye present.
That's nice.
And I got to play Pokemon, whatever the Hawaii one was. I'm already forgetting the name.
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I got Pokemon Sun to play with, which I never beat. I've always had pretty good memories. The Switch, I was going through a really bad breakup, so I bought it a couple months later, and I bought it from this guy I just randomly hooked up with on Craigslist. Not hooked up with. This this guy I randomly connected with on Craigslist, and we just met at Safeway, and he gave me the Switch for like I think $450 or $500. It's heavily marked up.
Yeah,
but the Switch was still rare, so I was like, fine. I'm super depressed, so I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
And then I played the hell out of Breath of the Wild. So yeah, every single Nintendo console has always been kind of an interesting, special story. Yeah. I don't remember when I got the PS4. I just got it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, there was no story attached to it. I just upgraded it.
Yeah.
Xbox One X was kind of a story because I only played it for Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, Nintendo consoles usually have a story attached to them, and that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Cool. Mike, anything from you?
Yeah, I'll just never forget being I was late to most things. I was also late to the Wii U. But man, I was so excited to get my tax return and go spend it on a Wii U at GameStop. And they were also really excited to sell it to me. Yeah. And I got a couple of Amiibo, and I was getting all loaded up. And man, they were thrilled that they sold one. So that's the one that sticks out the most to me, is how fucking excited I was to get a Wii U and be like, oh, hell yeah, dog, this is gaming. And then to set it up at home, like, oh my God, it's worse than the Wii.
What is this?
And we made the best of it. I liked the Wii U.
I like the Wii U too. I bought it for Bayonetta 2, period.
I didn't love it. God, I did not love it.
Yeah.
Wasted tax return.
That's funny.
Kind of. I played Xenoblade Chronicles X on it too, but I never finished it.
Yeah. Wii U.
The gamepad sucks, Oh, here's another thing about Xenoblade Chronicles X. It made, like, I feel like Monolith Soft was being forced, like, we keep talking about big companies forcing studios to do shit that they don't want to do. I do think Nintendo was kind of forcing Monolith Soft to make more of an online RPG, but also use the Wii U as a like, come on, use the gamepad, and they're like, all right, fine, they put the map there.
That's Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah, and then so they use a map, and then now guess what? Xenoblade Chronicles X, you can just press Y to open the map. It's way easier. The Y button wasn't being used for anything in the original game, I guess, and then so now if you just press Y, the map just comes up, and you can just explore and do that. It's way easier than the physically than craning your neck down, taking out the fucking stylus, and then start like tapping around and everything like that, versus pressing Y and I'm just like looking around the map,
Yep,
but
totally.
Yeah, shout out to the Wii U.
Shout out Wii U, stay dead, don't come back.
Yeah, Wii U definitely stay in the ground.
Yeah, for me, NES, I don't remember. I was too young when we got it. I just know my grandma got it for us. Super Nintendo, I remember getting on Christmas. Mine did not come with, we got ours a little later. Ours came with Link to the Past. It didn't come with Mario, but me and my brother both loved Zelda. So
Link to the Past is such a core memory.
Yeah. So we were stoked on that. The N64, I remember getting a little bit after it came out. It was like when Shadows of the Empire was out. I don't know how much longer that was after it came out, but there was a Mario 64 and Pilot Wings only when it came out here. So I got when Shadow of the Empire was out, but I got Mario 64 with that. And I distinctly remember my brother playing it first. And that was kind of the end of him playing video games. That was like, once they went 3D, he kind of just stopped playing them. So I remember N64 killing video games for my brother. Good shit right there. GameCube, I remember buying. That came out when I was in high school. And I just remember being like, Luigi's Mansion or Rogue Squadron. And I picked Luigi's Mansion. And I was like, fuck, I should have got Rogue Squadron. Because I beat Luigi's Mansion in like 4 hours or something like that. I was like, damn, it's over already. Should have got Rogue Squadron. Midnight launch, went there with my buddy Mike Huber. Of course, I had to get Twilight Princess because it was on that first.
You and Huber were hunting for the Wii.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Mike since we were in first grade.
I know.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah, definitely that. Like when he came with me, Gene, to Best Buy to pick up Tears of the Kingdom just because he wanted to see me pick up a Zelda game. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even going to buy it. He just wanted to go there to see it. So we still do stuff like that occasionally. And Wii U, I distinctly remember it coming out and I was like, this is going to be the first Nintendo console I'm not going to buy like right away. I don't care about it. Then I randomly saw it at a Best Buy and just on a whim. I was like, fuck it. Just buy it. So I bought the black one that came with Mario. And I just remember being like, this is weird. I don't know how I feel about this. This is weird. But it's which, of course, had to get for Breath of the Wild. So yeah, most Nintendo things I do remember. So shout out Nintendo memories with consoles. All right, guys. That's it. We are done. Another episode in the books. Thank you both for joining me, as always. Before we go, though, Micah, what do you got going for the rest of the day?
I gotta go have that little bit of a cry.
Oh,
and
right.
Then I gotta make dinner. And then maybe have a little more of a cry. But otherwise, I'm gonna go be Henry for
Henry
several hours.
Yeah, a little pickish. Yeah. Gene, any plans for the rest of the day?
No, probably just gonna grab some dinner and I don't know, have a cry myself. So
okay, let's all just go cry.
Again, guys, you never know what people are going through, so just relax, guys.
All right, guys, that's it. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye. See ya.
Adios.
Punching Up, a Nintendo podcast, is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Bradley Ellis. My co-hosts are Gene Park and Micah Moriarty. The show is edited and produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Punching Up, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your kind contributions and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.